Wednesday, very humid as well, and 101 on Thursday, near record temperatures. We'll be up around 100 on Friday, too.
Still scrolling those big national job boards? Doing it wrong. If you want a job in Philly, use the site from the city. Philly Hired connects you with local companies that actually know what a hoagie is. Find your next gig at phillyhired.com. Local jobs for local people. Don't be a jabroni.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Some of these problems are easily correctable. We could see significant improvement. Nothing is ever absolute. Nothing could ever be 100% yada yada. But man, we could have so many different better things if we just had that same mentality of, oh, we're having guests, companies coming over. Let's get it together and make it look like we have our house in order. When we know Philadelphia as a city does not have their house in order.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Happy Monday, everybody. Yes, it's me. I'm back. And I'm with you for like an extraordinary amount of hours coming up. So yeah, I'm Mary Walter, for those of you who don't know me. Sitting in the seat until 7 or 8, 7. I don't know. It all starts to blend together. So I'm with you until 7 tonight. Apparently 4 hours was too much for Zioli, but you know, takes one woman to do the job of two men, so here I am. Is my camera crooked again? Is it crooked? I think it's a little crooked. I think it's got to go this way. I don't know how it has to go, but it looks a little crooked. Hold on. Is that better? I don't know if that looks better or not. I can't tell. Anyway, I'll try to straighten it out for you. But yes, the camera's here, and I don't know if that's better. Is that better? That's better, right? I think that's... All right. Well, anyway. See, Rich never had to worry about the camera because Rich never used the camera, but for some reason I have to use the camera during his hour. So, you know, and we go on. So great. I have to tell you, Matt and Justin did a great job. Coming up here in half an hour, John Lott Jr. will be joining us. He's from the Crime Prevention Research Center, and there are states that are trying to ban popular handguns. So we're going to talk to him about that. Then next hour, Mike O'Neill, he's VP of Legal Affairs for the Landmark Legal Foundation. He will be joining us to talk about ruling from SCOTUS, what we're waiting for. Of course, the birthright citizenship is the big one that everybody's waiting for, but we'll talk to him about that. Last hour, Guy Shiraki's back. Yay! I like him. So he's going to be joining us. He had a great piece about the unexpected side effects of the World Cup. And also school choice in Pennsylvania. So he will be joining us about that. Oh, and then when I do the next show, Rich Zioli's show, can I plug Rich Zioli's show guests during this show? Am I allowed to do that, or it's okay because it's all just one show because I'm doing it by myself? Okay, good. That's a lot good because I was going to do it anyway. Christine Flowers will be joining us right after the top of the hour at 6 o'clock. So, yeah. So settle down, pop some corn, pop a beer. If you pour a little bourbon, you may not make it to 7 o'clock, but you are welcome to join in. There's just so much to talk about. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and we'll just get cut one ready, guys, is the housing bill. We've heard a lot about this housing bill, and it's going to make housing more affordable. Oh, by the way, excuse me, let me just stop for a hot second. You can give me a call. I'd love to hear from you, 855-839-12. What was that? 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210, or just tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. No S in that, Mary Walter Radio. And for those of you, Mangle and Suze and Joe and, Yitzhak and Sal and Dottie, and I know I'm forgetting a lot of people, but anyway, Dave is with us, who joined me on the live cast tomorrow night. No live cast tomorrow night, because tomorrow I will be fighting for my life in Manhattan. I have to walk to and from Penn Station, and get this, so to get home tomorrow, the trains for a certain period of time coming out of Penn Station. And if you don't travel into Manhattan, but think about it just locally, right? So the trains coming in and out of Penn Station, New York, the hub, will only go to Secaucus, and Newark. So for the World Cup. So if you want to travel south out of Penn Station, you want to come into New Jersey and not go to one of those two places, you then have to get on the PATH train and take the PATH train to Hoboken or Newark, and then get on back on New Jersey Transit there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? So I got to juggle that too. So there's a really, 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 really good chance I'm going to be on the air Thursday with you with an attitude. Actually, it would be Wednesday, but I'm not with you Wednesday because I would have a real attitude Wednesday if I have to do that. Anyway, all right. So let's get back to the housing thing. So I said, okay, housing bill, it's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to make it easier to build new construction, and it gets rid of a lot of the regulations and stuff around building, and so it makes it a little bit easier because we're really overregulated with a lot of stuff. Okay, fine. I question whether we need more housing because I think there's a lot of housing that instead of rehabilitating housing like they do in other countries where people will live in a house in England that's from the 1600s. In this country, we just bash and build, and we just plow over to build new stuff. New Jersey is no longer the Garden State. It's the high-density housing for people fleeing New York State. That's what it's become. It's bad. But anyway, I'm open if they say it's gonna make it easier. We need more housing. Well, once we send back the Haitians, and we might free up some housing. But anyway, so House Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday that he's going to send this housing affordability bill to President Trump today. And he said it's passed by both chambers. I'm sending it to him on Monday, and it will become law. Johnson met with Trump last week to discuss another path forward for the Voting Act, which Trump says I'm not signing it until you guys pass the Voting Act, right? Now, so what they have to do is a parliamentarian voted them down, trying to get this through with a reconciliation meeting, attach it to a spending bill, and the parliamentarian voted them down. But Mike Johnson and President Trump had a conversation about how they could maybe pull this off. The housing bill, because it was passed by both houses of Congress, it becomes a law whether Trump signs it or not. In 10 days, under the Constitution, the president has 10 days to sign it or veto it. And if he declines to do either, it would become a law without his signature. So Johnson also said he had met with Thune. Thune. We need, every time I say Thune, we need to have like villain music, like dark organ villain music. And he said, I implored him to pass the SAVE Act, the Save America Act. And Johnson said he's got a big challenge on his hands, of course, and I've encouraged him to do everything possible within his power to move it. I believe he will. We'll send them over a provision that fits. Okay. Fine. But, so this sounds all good. Oh, it's bipartisan. It's great. Listen, this is Tim Burchett, who, by the way, I'm starting to really, really like this guy. And he's kind of along the lines of John Kennedy. So very old folksy and Southern. But I really just like that he walks out of a vote or whatever and he takes his phone and he makes a video and he tells you what's going on in there. And he tells you why he voted or against something. So he's being super transparent. So I really like him. So listen to what he says about the housing bill. He claims that it's like a Trojan horse. Listen to what's in this thing. This is cut one.
This Housing Act, this is actually in the Senate, was Elizabeth Warren's bill. And they couldn't go through the regular channels, so they suspend the House rules to get it in the House today. Something in it is just crazy. It doesn't limit illegals from receiving housing welfare or limit foreign ownership. It actually includes Rashida Tlaib's $200 million affordable housing pilot program. It includes COVID-era eviction moratoriums. What in the world, folks? You talk about the deep state, that's what it is. Everybody, the only color they see is green, and it's coming out of your dadgum pocket.
So the COVID-19 eviction moratorium was temporary. Whenever something's temporary, it's never temporary. Taxes, benefits, whatever. It's never temporary with the government. It's forever. And it was implemented by the feds and also by various states to prevent evictions during COVID. Okay, because especially people who couldn't work or facing financial hardship, they couldn't just be evicted because it was not their fault that they weren't working. I kind of get it, but because it was only 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And so I think most landlords are like, all right. And then it wound up being 2.5 years of lockdowns. And they were enacted in phases. But it extends this temporary eviction moratorium. If you look what's happening in New York with Mamdani mandating rent control for 2 years, you can't raise the prices, you can't raise your rent for 2 years, and like these COVID eviction moratoriums, you look at a lot of states, it's very, very difficult to evict someone who chooses just to not pay rent. It's super hard. The laws are on their side. I know somebody who had a townhouse. This was years ago in New Jersey, so I can't imagine it's gotten better. And he was down, Monmouth County, I forget where he was. I don't know which county that is. It's down, anyway, it's Mercer County. And he had a family in there. So he had like a 2-3 bedroom townhouse. He had a family in there. He thought it was great. It was a good area. And he wound up having to walk away because he could no longer afford the legal bills to keep fighting these people in court because they get free representation. So they can play the game as long as they want because they're not paying you rent. And the rent pays the mortgage for a lot of these landlords. That could be your kids' college fund that you're working on there to build up the college fund, and then the laws work against you. So Burchett says that's in there. The COVID era eviction moratoriums, now it includes them. He also said it does not limit illegals from receiving housing welfare. So we're going to continue to pay for a roof over the head of people in the country illegally. Why? It doesn't limit foreign ownership. We should have a limit on foreign ownership, right? I just think we should. How many other countries can you go to and buy property? You can in a lot of them, but you have to have a certain amount of income. You have to have a certain amount in the bank. You have to be able to prove that you can keep that property in good shape. You can't just, get it and move in and that's it. You have to have they have certain benchmarks that you have to meet in order to be foreign and own property in that country. But here, we'll pay you. We'll pay the rent for you when Americans aren't having their rent paid. But we'll pay the rent for you. We'll pay the mortgage for you. It's insane. And Rashida Tlaib's $200 million affordable housing pilot program. And when talking about that, he later in the video spoke about how he said, with all of the fraud that we found going on in this country with all of these programs, why in God's name are we setting up another $200 million program that is ripe for fraud? We know that there is not, the oversight isn't good enough for these programs. Why are we doing this? So good on Tim Burchett, because I was just, I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous what's happening, and we talk a good game, but then our Congress doesn't do the job. Like President Trump could do as much as he possibly can. They're going to fight him at every step of the way, but Republicans aren't helping them. I feel like he's like trying to drag them through quicksand to get them to do something, like do something the people elected you to do. And they just won't. They are so comfortable with the status quo. They are so comfortable with just going along to get along and then just working on getting reelected again. That's it. It's so bad. It's so bad. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do as far as all of that goes, as far as Congress and getting something done that that would actually benefit the American people. All right, coming up here, I'm going to take a quick break here because I want to have more time on the other side. I want to talk about an interesting piece in Just the News. And they talk about, before we get to John Lott, about how Democrats escaped accountability in the era of weaponization. In other words, everything they did to Trump and everybody on the right, nobody was held accountable, and we all know it, and they're not going to be held accountable. So they talked about how that happened, and if we have time, also talking about Democrats' establishment. Maybe we'll do this first. We'll see, because I have some audio I want to share with you. Accusing the Socialist Democrats are mad that the Socialists are running as Democrats. And they said, why are you using our resources to get elected when you don't even like our party? And I'm like, oh. So maybe this is not such a match made in heaven, and maybe not all the Democrats are on board. And I have some audio from Bill Maher with J.D. Vance. And maybe there's a crack in the blue wall. I don't know. Every time I hope for it, it never happens, but you never know. And then we have John Lott coming up also in like 10 minutes. All right, so there's a lot going on. If you want to join in, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I'm Mary Welter on 1210 WPHT.
Join WPHT and Nick Hale in supporting the 39th annual Bend to the Shore Bike Tour, Sunday, July 26th. Ride 10, 30 miles, or 65 miles, or just make a donation. Visit bendtoshore.org and enter code NICK1210 to get $25 off the registration fee. That's shore.org, promo code NICK1210. The Bend to Shore Bike Tour provides financial relief for the families of fallen and critically injured first responders and is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
It was just
one unforgettable night.
One of those things.
An evening with Harry Connick Jr.
Just one of those crazy flings.
Performing songs from across his remarkable career.
Well, come by me,
Harry Connick Jr.
Come talk to me, baby.
Friday, July 24th, Borgata Hotel, Casino and Spa. Tickets are on sale now at theborgata.com.
You got to go see the Mardi Gras.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
The Second World War is the largest event in human history.
A 20-part series with Tom Hanks.
No part of the globe was untouched. No life unchanged.
Experience the ultimate account of World War II.
Every single person had a story. These are the stories that make us who we are.
Listen to World War II with Tom Hanks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
Google's home speaker is getting an AI refresh. The Gemini-powered speaker comes 6 years after Google's last smart speaker, and now Google is looking to take on Amazon's new Echo lineup and Apple's HomePod. There's a new feature with the microphone remaining briefly active after a response for follow-up questions. Google's home speaker costs $100, matching Amazon's newest Echo and Apple's mini HomePod. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back. Happy Monday. What did I say to the guys? One day closer to retirement. I've become that person now. I used to have I had a physics teacher in high school. Pops Pulowski, we used to call him, Old Man Pulowski. And every now and then, like, something would happen and you know, somebody break something, whatever. And he would just look out the window and he'd go, one day closer to retirement. And we used to laugh at him. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've become Pops Pulowski, Old Man Pulowski. I've become him. Counting down the days. Very quickly, I want to talk about this piece is from Just the News with Don Solomon's site. And I think I find some good stuff over there. And they talk about how the Democrats escaped accountability during the era of weaponization, when the government was weaponized against President Trump and his associates, and what's going to happen when President Trump is out of office. They're immediately going to go to jail him. He will be charged. They're going to do everything they possibly can to put him in jail. And they're going to do the same thing to all the people who are around him, Susie Wiles, everybody. They've already said they're going to do it, which, of course, is fascism 101, but Trump's the fascist, so that's why they have to put him in jail. It's not us, it's him. Anyway, and none of them, and they're emboldened because none of them were ever held accountable. One person was Eric Kleinsmith. That's it. And the writer says the easiest avenue to avoid potential prosecution is through presidential pardons. President Joe Biden took this a step further by promoting advance pardons to certain political figures who were likely to be the subject of investigations once a Republican entered office. Yes, I'm looking at you, Dr. Fauci. I'm looking at you, Hunter Biden. He issued similar pardons. He talks about Fauci and other members of his family and anyone who investigated the January 6th riot at the Capitol, most notably Adam Schiff, who has been accused of approving the leaking of classified information to smear Trump. And he stood there. He's just, I mean, you can't help what the Lord gave you when it comes to looks, but I just don't think he helps himself sometimes. You know, when he gets that smug look on his face, like his face. And listen, I'm no prize. I get it, and I understand God gave me what He gave me, and it is what it is, and I got to make the best of it, right? But I just don't think he's self-aware sometimes when he smirks, like how it looks with what God gave him. Like it just doesn't come off. Some people can smirk and rock it. Adam Schiff cannot, and he's got that look. It's the look more than the face. It's the look. And that's totally under his control. On July 5th, we know that of 2016, FBI Director James Comey cleared Hillary Clinton of criminal wrongdoing for using an unsecure and private email server to transmit classified information. Remember, they raided Mar-a-Lago. But Hillary, with a server in the basement or bathroom or wherever the hell it was, that's totally fine. Yeah, she didn't know. What's she supposed to know? She was only Secretary of State. How she was a congressperson. How could she ever possibly know all this? Because the markings are confusing. And he said because she never intended to do so, but intent is not stated in the law. The law states that intent is irrelevant. But he said, nope, that's not the way it's written. Not the way I see it. He said he found no intentional misconduct, so he's not going to charge Clinton. So what this is basically outlining is cronyism. If you have a D after your name, it's something we've all known for a really, really, really long time, is that you are going to get a free pass. They will bend the law. They will do everything they possibly can to give you a free pass. And they don't care if the Republicans scream and yell, because the Republicans are not going to do anything about it. They're not going to go after them. The Republicans are feckless. They're useless, and they're not going to do anything about it. And they know it, and they're right. Then they talk about, and remember, he did this shortly after Bill Clinton met with then AG Loretta Lynch in her plane on the tarmac in New Jersey up at Teterboro. Remember that? And it leaked. Somebody saw it and leaked it out. Remember that? And that guy got in trouble because how dare you leak it out? But that was supposed to be hush hush. So, they're probably talking about tennis and other things. Then when the IRS tried to investigate Hunter for his failure to pay taxes, because, everybody has to pay their fair share, unless you have a D after your name. The IRS, we found out from Gary Shapley, who was a whistleblower. He was a supervisory criminal investigative agent for the IRS, and he turned whistleblower. And he told Congress in 2023 that the FBI had testimony and text messages that showed Joe Biden likely met with Hunter Biden's Chinese business partners. They were shut down from investigating that. Shapley testified that based on guidance provided by the prosecutors on a recurring basis to not look into anything related to President Biden, there's no way of knowing if evidence of other criminal activity existed concerning Hunter or President Biden. So what they do is, since they run the institutions, since they weaponize the institutions, you get a raid on Mar-a-Lago, even though people in the chain of command are like, you don't have any basis to do this. This is not a good idea. They're overridden. Boom. Raid on Mar-a-Lago. Nobody's held accountable. It's no big deal. Somebody thought it was a good idea. We don't know who. To this day, we don't know who. Oh, well, somebody did. And so they did it anyway, despite people farther down the chain saying you have no basis for this. But when you do have basis to investigate a Democrat, the people high up the chain, who are the ones who decide what's just and what's not, they somehow became an unelected branch of government, they say, nope, you're not going to investigate this. Shapley and another IRS agent who were, as I said, were whistleblowers, said that they had compelling evidence that Hunter failed to pay taxes for years, but they were blocked from further investigation. And what happened? The statute of limitations was allowed to run out. They ran cover long enough for the statute of limitations to run out, and now it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh well, sorry, our bad. Dropped the ball. Didn't mean to. They could have extended those limitations, that the window, and they chose not to. Then you had in November of last year a judge who was dismissed legal cases against Comey and Letitia James, argued that Trump's appointment of Lindsay Halligan as an interim U.S. attorney was unlawful. So you can't prosecute them because her appointment was unlawful. That would never stop Democrats, but it does stop Republicans. Another federal judge also dismissed subpoenas against James issued by the U.S. attorney for Northern Virginia for the same reason. Said, nope, illegally appointed. Can't do that. And I don't know if they were, but that's what they use. Going on, you also have grand juries. You can't get a fair trial if you're in D.C. or Northern Virginia or New York, etc. If you're a Republican and it's a political allegation, you're not going to get a fair trial by the jury or the judge. Look at Boasberg in New York. Look what happened there. Then you look at the other side of it. Grand juries in New York they indicted Trump on 34 felony counts, which actually were misdemeanors, but Democrats played some games and elevated them to felonies. That same another jury also determined that Trump defamed E.G. Carroll by defending himself against her accusation of rape, and she didn't even know what year it happened. And Kevin Kleinsmith, remember I said he was the one guy? Kevin Kleinsmith, who pleaded guilty to falsifying a document used to continue spying on Trump's campaign. They used that document to continue spying on Trump's campaign, and he altered it and presented it to the FISA court. He removed information, making it appear as though Carter Page had no reason to engage with anybody from Russia, and this is what they use that as the excuse. He wound up getting. He was just. He faced 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000, but he wound up 1 year of probation and 400 hours of community service, and he could still practice law. Still allowed to practice law. That's how low the bar is. If you're a Democrat, or if you're doing the bidding of the Democrats. So, and then Joe Biden, of course, when he was hiding, he had classified documents. He got off because the special counsel said, "Oh, he's just, what do you call him? A sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man." And, with a poor memory. Remember that? So, that's how they get off. They've got friendlies in all of the institutions, in all the levers, all the levels of power, and they just pull the levers, and you can do whatever you want, and that's really scary. And Trump's trying to get him out, but it's a very difficult thing to do. Very, very difficult thing to do. All right, he is ready to go. We've got John Lott Jr., the president of Crime Prevention Research Center. He's also the author of More Guns, Less Crime. You can find him on X at John R. Lott Jr. John, welcome to the show. Hi.
Doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So there's some things going on that around the country that I thought we could talk about. Let's go to Virginia first. Virginia, the Gun Owners of America secured an injunction against an AR-15 ban. Tell us about that. They're trying to ban AR-15s in Virginia.
Well, they have an assault weapons ban. It's very broad. It encompasses a large number of rifles that can, or a particular stock on. There's some hand that are banned, some shotguns that are banned under this. I mean, Virginia's passed a number of gun control laws this time, kind of bottled them up. Youngkin had, in his last year there, had vetoed something like 22 different gun control bills that they had. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. People are moving under both state law and federal law. In fact, I worked with Ken Cuccinelli, who has a lawsuit there. I was an expert with him on the case. Mm-hmm. But you know, this is something. You have a number of states that have passed assault weapons bans, and my guess is this next term, the Supreme Court's likely to take up one of these cases. What's held it up in the past is that the Supreme Court likes to have circuit splits. It likes to take a case after there's some disagreement among the circuits. The problem is that the states which have passed these assault weapons bans have been in circuit courts which the Democrats have controlled. And so there hasn't been a split. Now that's changed just this last year because the Third Circuit, which includes New Jersey, they just had a case where Trump appointed a couple judges to the Third Circuit, and that switched control from Democrats to the Republicans. And my guess is probably very soon they're going to come down and strike down the New Jersey assault weapons ban. And what that'll mean is that there'll be a circuit split, and I would guess this coming term, starting in October, the Supreme Court will take an assault weapons ban case. And so that will make the Virginia case kind of moot at that point, because they're going to be deciding it for all these, even before it kind of gets through all the courts in Virginia.
Gotcha. And it's interesting because I think the AR is a very popular, very widely owned weapon, right? It's a very widely owned gun. I guess it's a rifle. And
well, it's the most popular rifle in the United States, and
yeah,
I don't know whether it's 25 million or something out there, but it's a large number of units out there.
So, but aren't most gun incidents, shootings, deaths, etc., committed with handguns?
I mean, you have maybe about less than 3% of murders in the United States involve any type of rifle, let alone a so-called assault rifle. But look, the thing about an AR is it looks a military weapon, so they often will use the term military, but it functions the same as any small caliber hunting rifle, firing bullets at the same rapidity, doing the same damage. It's people focus on the looks of it, and it's lightweight and it's easy for many people to go and use. But in fact, most states ban the AR-15 for going and hunting deer because the caliber of the bullet there is so small that people are worried that you'll just wound and won't kill the deer that's there, and it'll be just have to go out and suffer. Excuse me. But 85% of the guns sold in the United States are semi-automatic guns. So that means one pull the trigger, one bullet comes out, it reloads itself, one pull the trigger, one bullet comes out, and so on. And the thing is, civilians benefit from having a semi-automatic gun. If you have to use a gun defensively and you face multiple criminals, or if you fire and miss, or if you fire and wound but don't incapacitate the attacker, the alternative is that you have to manually reload the gun itself after each shot. And people may not have the time to be able to go and do that. And so having a semi-automatic gun is very useful for self-defense. There's so many characteristics about guns that people will focus on. Well, it makes it attractive to the criminal, but it also makes it attractive for the victim who is trying to use it. So they'll go and talk about small, concealable handguns. Well, we have over 20 million Americans that have a concealed carry permit. You have 29 constitutional carry states. We just did a survey recently that indicated that almost 30% of general election voters carry all or most of the time, or at least some of the time. 13% carry all or most of the time. That's a lot of people, and be able to have a gun that's easily concealable and light is something that benefits them. And so much of this game only focuses on one side of the equation. They miss the fact that Americans use guns defensively about 5 times more frequently each year to go and stop crime than guns are used in the commission of crime.
Yeah, I knew that because I've spoken with you many times, so I hear I hear that. But California is looking to ban Glock handguns effective July 1st. Glocks to me are again very popular and very widely owned. But I mean, is this how we're going to slowly ban guns? We're just going to ban each make of gun, drive the makers out of business, and then nobody will have guns? Is that how they're going to go about this?
Right. You're exactly right. I mean, in the past, we're going to ban handguns. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me again.
Yeah, you're kind of cutting in and out there.
I'm on a boat.
Yeah, you're kind of cutting in and out. So try it again. So they're talking about banning Glocks, which I think are very, very, a lot of people own Glocks. So is that what we're going to do? Are we just going to ban as we go along?
Oh, 65 please.
You know what, John? We've lost. I think we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to let you go. We're gonna have to let you go. Sorry, John, but we're losing you, and you're cutting in and out. But thank you so much. Enjoy wherever you are. You're on a boat. Have a great time, and thank you so much. I do appreciate you joining us and making us a little smarter. So have a good one. Enjoy. Have a great week. All right. You could tell he's somewhere because he's got a little sunburn on him, right? So he's probably on a cruise ship or something like that because it looked like it had a painting behind him. So he's probably on a cruise, and it's hard enough to get internet to work when you're driving down 95, let alone when you're out on the ocean. So I can see where he was going in and out. All right, we've got more coming up. There's a lot to talk about. 855-839-1210 is my number if you want to join in anywhere along the line. Or you can also just tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. No S, and I will get to it. More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
If clutter is costing you time, fix it right away. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, and home offices. Schedule a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. Closetfactory.com.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
All right, what's the weather like out there? It's hot, 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 real hot. Can you tell me what it feels like? Were you born on the sun? I said it's hot.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Is this how you're feeling right now? Well, don't let your house feel like a rainforest anymore. To keep your home cool, contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD, and if untreated, could lead to blindness. The good news, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that may reverse some vision loss. For free AMD information, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. There is a cure in sight.
TurnersvilleJeep.com wants to save you money at the pump this June with a brand new Jeep Cherokee Hybrid. Not worried about gas prices? Then check out our huge inventory of Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, or Ram trucks, and Dodge Durango.
Equipped with V8 engines.
Don't have a down payment? No problem. We work with dozens of banks who offer 0 down payments and no payments for 90 days to qualified buyers. Just minutes from all bridges or online 24/7 at TurnersvilleJeep.com. Again, that's TurnersvilleJeep.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with 0 out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Hey, Westchester. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Happy Monday. Welcome back. Just remember, a lot of people have Friday off, so, this could be your Tuesday if you play your cards right. All right, coming up in less than 1 hour, we'll be joined by Mike O'Neill, the Vice President of Legal Affairs for the Landmark Legal Foundation, and we'll talk to him about what came down from SCOTUS today. Still awaiting the birthright citizenship ruling, but I think we all know how it's going to go. Like every legal talking head I hear just keeps saying the same thing. They're going to kick it back to Congress, and Congress isn't going to do anything. So you can board a plane, fly to America, get off the plane, literally pop a squat in the middle of the terminal, have a baby. That baby's a citizen. Welcome to America. And they're going to keep doing that. That's still going to be a thing. It's going to be. I would like them to see the birther tourism, kind of get rid of that. That's me, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So, all right, let's talk about the Democrat establishment versus the Democratic Socialists. Again, they're just socialists. They call themselves Democratic Socialists, apparently, because what they're doing is what they have a name for it. It's called a dirty break strategy. So what they do, they're very smart. Do not count these people out. And if Republicans and Democrats were smart, they would do the same thing that these people are doing. They would figure out a way to do this. So they've adopted a strategy to exploit the Democrat Party's ballot access to boost their own candidates at the expense of Democrat incumbents. We saw it play out across the country, mostly in New York, right? Now, Jamie Harrison, who served as the Democratic National Committee chair from 21 to 25, said, "I say this with no ill will or animosity. If you hate the Democratic Party, then please don't run for our nomination. Don't use our resources. Don't rely on our volunteers. Don't use our infrastructure. Don't ask Democrats to invest their time, money, and energy in your campaign. Focus on building the party you actually support." So what they're doing, the New York City DSA co-chair, Gustavo Gordillo, before the elections on Tuesday said, he explained that his party is using the Democrats to access the ballot, but aims for a different agenda. We're on the Democratic Party ballot line. We contest the primaries, and when they're in the legislature, they're part of the Democratic Party caucus, but we don't agree with the way the Democratic Party establishment organizes or runs its party apparatus. We're using the Democratic Party as a ballot access vehicle, not because we share its goals. We build our own organization, get elected under the Democratic label. We caucus with the Democrats when it's useful and push our own agenda from the inside. It's kind of like 90 Day Fiancé, where the 50-year-old woman is dating the 25-year-old guy because she thinks he totally is in love with her, or the 50-year-old man with the 25-year-old girl. Potato, because the 25-year-old totally thinks that the 50-year-old is hot, and they're just using them. So they go along and they tell them how much they love them, and they want to be, yes, I'm one of you, I'm just like you, yes, I want to marry you. They get the green card and boom, beat feet. This is what the DSA is doing. The socialists are doing to the Democrats. They're using them, and then dumping them like Gino and Jasmine. And if you watch, you know what I'm talking about. So this is what's happening. But this goes back to the Democrats because they don't vet their candidates. They never vetted, what's his face, Plattner. They never vetted. They didn't know about the Nazi tattoo. They claimed they didn't know about the Nazi tattoo. They didn't know about the allegations of him being violent with an ex. They didn't know about any of this stuff. So this is what happens. They're complacent. And so they're getting used. And, I'm kind of here for it. He said, I think in terms of the agenda, there's a problem in the Democratic Party where they are funded by billionaire donors, and at the same time, they're trying to represent the working class. And in our opinion, you have to choose between the billionaire class and the working class. It's impossible to satisfy them all. Of course, DSA doesn't mind that a lot of their stuff is funded by George Soros. They're totally down with that because all a bunch of hypocrites. So the wedge in the Democrat Party, and do you think that they're going to actually like get rid of the socialists? Will the socialists just form off into another group? That's what the Democrats want them to do. And I ask because I think it's having effect on the base. I think that what happened in New York kind of woke people up, and they said first the East Coast, now the what did it say, the Southwest, or now the Midwest, or something along those lines. Now they're heading out towards like Colorado. So they're picking these places that are blue and then taking them over. I want to go to cut 2 quickly. It's only 30 seconds here. This is Bill Maher with J.D. Vance, and listen to what he says.
Like, if this is where the Democratic Party is going, where this democratic socialist, this obsession with Israel, with the Jew hating, with they don't believe in capitalism, no prisons, if this is where they're going, my vote is in play.
Okay.
And
I like to hear that.
It actually always has been. Every year, I don't make my decision by who was an R or a D. I actually always came to the conclusion that the Democrat was probably better.
Sure.
And voted for them.
Okay.
And Trump can't run again, and he'd be a little too exciting for me anyway. So it's either going to be you or Rubio.
All right, so it's going to be either you or Rubio. But see, I think this is happening, and you're seeing people like Bill Maher say something like this, saying to J.D. Vance, you know, I could go this way because of the push to the far left from the Democrat socialists, from the socialists in the party. So do the Democrats start vetting candidates, or you hear them say it with Plattner all the time, but we got to win the Senate. So they make the deal with the devil and they run the socialist, and now they're stuck with the socialists. And then you see all these socialists getting elected. A Nazi guy with a Nazi tattoo getting elected, who allegedly was rough with his girlfriend, who allegedly held one girlfriend in a room and wouldn't let her out. That's kidnapping. That's a felony. And who has other problems. He's got a boatload of problems. But they will take it, and they'll back him for a win, just to get the win, just to get the power, right? Because they want the power so they can get rid of Trump. But now they're stuck with the socialists. And people like Bill Maher, people who are more towards the center, they don't want him. So they've got a problem. All right. Coming up, we got a lot more here on 1210 WPHT.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audien Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Liberty is more than freedom. Liberty is the freedom to act with a purpose and for the greater good. It's the freedom to petition, pray, and peacefully assemble. Discover the complete story of liberty in America at the National Liberty Museum. Visit the latest exhibit, The Forgotten Freedom, American Assembly at 250. To learn more, visit libertymuseum.org. That's libertymuseum.org. Experience liberty. Tested, shaped, and lived.
Hey, Dawn here. You know, with gas prices on top of everyone's minds right now, what about a hybrid? There are a lot of gas-saving options available from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. The Honda hybrid lineup includes the Accord, the Civic, or the CR-V SUV. Take advantage right now of 2.99% financing, 36 months, or 3.99% for 60 months on the CR-V. Experience award-winning hybrid performance today. Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Springfield, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading. PIAZZA, PiazzaHonda.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all, not one bill. Your focus is supporting this child. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
From ABC News, I'm Mike
Mike Dubusky. President Trump weighing in on this morning's latest decisions from the Supreme Court. Among those, a major expansion of presidential powers, with the court finding presidents can hire and fire officials at independent agencies like the FAA and the FTC.
I don't think so. It gives me the right, and not me, it gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling. It's been going on for almost 100 years.
The Supreme Court also handed a defeat to the president, upholding a Mississippi law that gives people a grace period to have their mail-in votes counted. More from ABC's Devin Dwyer.
This was a decision based largely on federal law, where Justice Barrett saying that federal law says nothing about late arriving ballots or the counting thereof. Therefore, states have the ability to set their own policies, and that means those policies now basically will stay in place both for the midterms and likely beyond.
The housing bill, which passed through the House and the Senate with bipartisan support, is now on its way to the president's desk. It's unclear whether the president will sign the measure, though. He's got 10 days to either sign it or veto it. Otherwise, the bill becomes law without his signature. We now have a trial date for the federal case against Luigi Mangione. January 5th is when jury selection is now slated to begin. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says it'll come after the state case against the accused United Healthcare CEO killer goes to trial in September.
We saw in the state case as well that they brought up the issue of a psychiatric defense. That's going to play a big part in this, even though the fact they pulled it away in the state case, because I think it's going to impact the potential jurors who are going to look at this case. And I think that's what comes down to being the biggest part of this case. Who's going to sit in that jury box to decide the fate of Luigi Mangione?
And officials in Venezuela have raised the death toll from last week's earthquakes. It now tops 1,700. More than 600 aftershocks have rocked the country as well. You're listening to ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
I've been telling you all about the secret war on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
The FAA's stack of reports involving drones around commercial aircrafts got a little bigger this morning, but this time, says ABC's Jim Ryan, it wasn't a near miss, but an actual hit.
JetBlue Flight 948 from Las Vegas was near the end of a 5-hour trip and about 12 miles away from landing at New York's Kennedy Airport when the crew radioed the tower.
We collided with a drone back there in the turn.
You said you collided?
Yep, it hit us right above the cockpit.
The audio from ATC.com. The Airbus A321 landed without incident. Flying a drone above 400 feet without a waiver can bring a heavy fine or jail time. Flight 948 was at 3,000 feet. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
It's set to be a scorcher for much in the next few days in the eastern half of the country.
Heat alerts have been issued for more than 100 million Americans from Kansas to Massachusetts. But as the U.S. heats up, Western Europe is cooling down after a week of record-breaking heat. Officials in France saying at least 1,000 deaths were reported during one of the worst heat waves on record. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, across 9 western states, there are 37 large wildfires burning. The worst of it is concentrated in Utah, where the Cottonwood Fire has churned through nearly 95,000 acres so far. That fire is 0% contained. Over the weekend, 3 firefighters were killed while battling a blaze in Colorado. I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I got a question for you. And by the way, we have Mike O'Neill coming up here in about half an hour to talk about the SCOTUS decisions and what they're taking, what they didn't take, where they ruled, blah, 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 and there's still stuff to come. And then next hour, Guy Shiraki. And then, since I'm doing Rich Zioli's show too, Christine Flowers will be joining us there. So, yeah, 1 hour down. But I'm glad you're with me. Thank you so much. And you can join in at 855-839-1210 if you'd like, or you can tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio with no S. So the America First Policy Institute, Turning Point USA, Hillsdale College, a bunch of other similar organizations, similarly aligned organizations, have partnered with the Department of Education and to launch a program that's dedicated to renewing patriotism, strengthening civic knowledge, and advancing a shared understanding of America's founding principles in schools and across the nation. I think this is a good thing. Now, we're going to talk about schools with Guy Shiraki coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about school choice. And PragerU is part of this, Heritage Foundation, Claremont Institute, Moms for Liberty, whole bunch. And they got together last week to announce America 250 Civics Education Coalition. And I wanted to talk to you about civics. Did you have quote-unquote civics in school? Now, it wasn't called civics. It was social studies. But we learned about the 3 branches of government, and we learned about, the preamble to the Constitution. And I know a lot of that because of Schoolhouse Rock, because I'm ancient. And Schoolhouse Rock was, I think, the best learning tool ever. In American society, I think it was amazing. It was brilliant, and it should still be on television or not TV. It should still be available somehow, since kids are no longer a slave to Saturday morning cartoons. Remember those? You had to get them. And if you were late or you missed it, it was gone. You could never see it. So you had to be right there. And we would actually sit through the commercials. This is how smart they were, selling us cereal and all that other stuff, just to catch Schoolhouse Rock, hoping that there would be a Schoolhouse Rock in that advertisement section. And the boys have no idea what I'm talking about. But I learned how a bill becomes law. I learned about No More Kings. I learned about the shot heard around the world. I learned about the Tea Party. I learned about, I learned grammar, right? Conjunction, junction, and all that good stuff. I can sing the preamble to the Constitution. I can't say it. I can sing it. I'm just curious, do your kids, grandkids have civics in school? And is this something that is best left to the parents? Or is this something that we need to bring back and teach our kids? 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. 1210. Or text me, as I said, in a post on X. Just tag me, not text me. Tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. I think it's super important, and I think that we have a... I think we have a generation that was never really taught about America. We were never taught about our founding. They were never taught about, the Mayflower and taught about what the founding fathers, they really were a ragtag group to a certain extent. They were like pirates, but on land. And the things that the founding fathers lost, just for signing that document. It's incredible. They literally put their lives on the line. They wanted freedom so badly. They put their lives on the line for that. And I think it's important. So I'm glad to see this. I want our schools to get back to teaching the basics. Now, American history is complicated. Yes, it is. And when kids get older, you can teach them when they can digest it and they can put it into context. You can teach them about how complicated American history is. It doesn't have to be America's bad from the get-go. It's very complicated. And when we owned most of our slaves, we were England. When they were all coming here, it was England. So, there's that. Now, why did my husband just text me? Does he not know that I'm on the air? Seriously, dude? I'm on the air, honey. Yeah, he found something at a store for me to wear on 4th of July. Anyway, so teaching them how to use a cell phone, when to use it, know your partner's schedule. But I really think that we're really lacking in this, and we have a lot of really kids who can tell you about, in kindergarten that their mere existence is killing off the polar bears, and the ice caps are all going to melt, and they're all going to, to die. And I just don't think that that's good, but they don't know the 3 branches of government. Grown adults don't know the 3 branches of government. How do you function in our society when you don't know how our society works? And I think we got away from it because it was offensive. We got to get away from this idea of America as offensive. That, Joy Behar saying that she's ashamed to be an American. I'm like, well, then beat feet, sweetheart, and go somewhere else. Because at her age, she needs really good medical care. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with her needing really good medical care. And she's just not going to get it overseas. My hunch is like Rosie. She's going to come back for medical care. Rosie came back for her facelift. No shade on her facelift. You do you, sweetheart. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to mock you for doing that. It makes you feel good. Doesn't hurt anybody else. Go for it. But she came back to the U.S., so she's a hypocrite. And I will point that out. I will point out her hypocrisy. 855-839-1210. What do you think about teaching civics in schools? You can text. You can tag me in a post on X. Who is this? Is this? This is Linda McMahon, who's the head of the Department of Education. She said civic knowledge, engagement, and constitutional literacy among our youth is in decline. A 2025 poll found that only 41% of 18 to 29-year-olds today are proud to be Americans, and I think that's because you don't know the history. At least that's what I think. They can't name the 3 branches of government or explain the Bill of Rights. I mean, that's unconscionable. There's no excuse for that. It's okay to be proud of your country, warts and all. Listen, it's like yourself. It's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to be proud when you accomplish something. But you're not all good. You're not 100%. Of course, you have your negatives too, but we don't dwell on those. We try to dwell on the positives and the outcome at the end. The interim president and CEO of America First Policy Institute said, "It's a commitment and a promise that the next generation will know America's story, understand her founding principles, and have the courage to defend them, because to know America is to love her." And we saw that with the World Cup. Again, we're going to talk to Guy Shiraki about that. We saw that at the World Cup. That we had people from foreign countries who were told all these horrible things about America, and they come here like, America's great. Americans aren't rude and terrible and horrible. Americans are like really nice people. Surveys from PRRI, Pew, Gallup, NBC News, and Morning Consult all point to the direction that national pride is slipping. Pessimism about our country is rising. Younger Americans are pulling away from traditional expressions of patriotism. And I'm sorry, but I find it so fun. Now, I'm old enough to remember 76. And I just remember, like, there were songs, Coca-Cola, right? They had their like all the sodas had their commercials, and it was all patriotic. It was all everybody getting together and having a great time and celebrating. It was all of that stuff, and it was fun, and we all had our patriotic outfits, and we did all of that. And it just doesn't seem to be that big of a deal this time. The tall ships coming into the harbor was amazing. Sitting in front of the TV watching that, I remember that as a kid, watching this stuff and going, "Wow, this is incredible." It's just amazing. So, the big parade in Philadelphia, I remember that. It was fantastic, and everybody was there. Everybody's in the streets of Philadelphia, the birthplace of America. And they don't even have an exhibit at the National Mall for the Great American Fair. They couldn't even be bothered sending an exhibit because America's terrible or we hate Trump, whatever it happens to be. But that's not what this is supposed to be about. But the left is so mentally disturbed that this is where we are, and they infect our kids with all of this, which is, to me, another reason why we need civics taught in classrooms. Now, I also wish parents would teach civics, because I think that the schools may not be teaching pride in America. I think that they are going to twist it, and that's how we got where we are. That's how we got where we are. So, I don't know. I'm happy about this. I'm glad that they're doing this. I think civics is important. I think civics is great. And I, for one, am totally happy that they're doing this. For instance, let's go to cut 3. This is John Fetterman. And he's talking here about Mayor Mamdani, New York Mayor Mamdani, who proudly said that he is not going to follow the temporary protected, getting rid of TPS for Haitian and Syrian migrants. Well, I'm going to protect our people. They're not our people. It was temporary for 18 months, and that was back in 2010. And it's time. It's time to go home. Temporary means temporary. Imagine that. Just because you get here and you get some kind of temporary protected status doesn't mean that you get to be here forever. That's just, to the Democrats, it's just another immigration pipeline, and Trump's shutting it off. And people are saying, "Oh, it's terrible, it's horrible, oh my gosh, how could this possibly be?" And don't you remember when Trump called Haiti a blank hole country, and the left lost their minds, like, Haiti's beautiful, how can you say that about Haiti? Haiti's a wonderful country, how can you say that? And then Trump's like, "We're sending Haitians back to Haiti," and they're like, "How can you do that? It's a blank hole country, it's terrible." And I thought the Clintons fixed Haiti, so why don't we want to send them back? And they supposedly have all these high-paying jobs, like they're doctors and nurses, and they're how are we ever going to survive without them? Well, maybe they could take those skills back to their country and help rebuild their country, bring the money with them that they made here in these high-paying jobs, and help rebuild that country. It is not our duty to rescue everyone from every third world country. It is not our duty to rebuild every third world country or solve all their problems. So back to Mamdani. So he proclaims that he is not going to be cooperating with the immigration ruling from the Supreme Court. Now, I'm also old enough to remember when the left said that Donald Trump's not going to respect the Supreme Court because he's a dictator, he's just going to do his own thing. And of course, none of that happened. So Senator John Fetterman, again, he amazes me on a daily basis, like in a good way, although he does vote wrong on a lot of things, in my humble opinion. But he was on Saturday in America with Kayleigh McEnany, and she asked him about the with Zoran Mamdani and his vow to defy the Supreme Court, and how that he thinks that's going to play out. And listen to Senator Fetterman. It's crazy.
I've not heard that before. An elected official saying that they are never going to accept a Supreme Court ruling. That's Mamdani.
Well, I mean, people might remember just in the spring of 2025, now there were a lot of people that were convinced that we were in the middle of a constitution crisis. And I described to the media and other people, it's like, well, actually what a real constitutional crisis is then if the president defies a court ruling, whether a court or definitely the Supreme Court, then that by definition, that would be a constitutional crisis. And I said, we've not seen one, and I honestly don't expect one. And as far as I know, the Trump administration has not defied any of those court rulings, if you can correct if that's right. And now there was a meltdown, and a lot of the left media was angry at me for just describing those circumstances, but I haven't seen the freak out now that the mayor of New York is now saying, I'm going to defy the Supreme Court ruling, and many of the members in my party are not calling him out and saying, or defend him, or just say, yay, we really actually have to follow the court rulings, because unless that's a constitutional crisis, when you have the leader of the country's largest city, then we're not going to follow or honor what the Supreme Court says.
So here is John Fetterman, who's saying, you want a constitutional crisis? This is a constitutional crisis. So they complain about it, and listen, I give him credit. He kind of calls balls and strikes to a certain degree. And I know he's not making friends in his party. Like, I get that. But he is, like I said, he's calling balls and strikes to a certain degree, and I admire that. So he calls it a constitutional crisis when you don't, when you say that you are going to defy a Supreme Court ruling. Now, in the past, Obama did, and it was fine. And it was fine. He did it on immigration. And he got away with it, and nobody made a big deal about it, because Republicans don't make a big deal about anything. I want to also talk to you here. I want to go to cut 6, because this kind of goes into all this. It goes along with the idea of civics, and you need to know this stuff. The kids need to know this stuff, because it all is the basis for being a good citizen and understanding what this country is about and how it operates, and so that you're not saying stupid stuff like, oh, I'm going to defy a Supreme Court ruling, come and get me, and thinking that you're above the law. Because I don't think, well, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out with Mamdani. He's probably hoping to get, somebody killed, unfortunately, so that they have another Renee Good or Alex Preddy on their hands, because then they can just publicize those deaths, which they do, and it's disgusting, and it's wrong, but they try to make them into heroes, and then they can capitalize on it, which is disgusting, as I said. But you have to understand what's happening right now. And if you don't have civics, you find this hard to believe, but maybe this will help. This is the Communist Playbook, cut 6, explained in 2 minutes, okay? This woman does a really, really great job of explaining exactly what is happening in this country right now. And there are so many people who are ignorant. I'm not saying like willfully ignorant, some are, but there's a lot who are just never taught. Especially the young useful idiots. They don't even know where that saying comes from, and they don't even realize that they are. And because they were never taught civics. So let's go. I wish I knew this woman's name. Someone took her video from, I think, Instagram and put it on X, and that's where I saw it. So I don't know her name, but she's very, very smart. Here you go.
What happened in New York last night should terrify everyone, and here's why. New York held their Democrat primaries, but instead of electing normal Democrats, voters chose their farther left socialist candidate. These guys, all backed by Zohran Mamdani and all America hating. This one, Daria Liza, she recently converted to Islam and said she would use the American flag to wipe if she forgot a napkin. She co-founded a group at Columbia whose stated mission was the total eradication of Western civilization. She's going to Congress. This one, Claire Valdez, ran on granting citizenship and voting rights to illegals using your tax dollars for trans surgeries and the elimination of private insurance. Communist in Congress. Brad also won, but he's technically Jewish, so he had to pretend not to be and do this to get elected. Say what? This chick also won a state assembly seat. She's a child of illegals. She once protested carrying a Hamas headband, and she blamed 9/11 on America's racism. And here's why this matters, because we are watching the Democrat socialists, the communists, take over the Democrat Party. And where have we seen this before? Pre-Soviet Russia. You had the Bolshevik Communist Party and the Mensheviks, and Vladimir Lenin controlled the Bolsheviks, and he wanted to destroy the Mensheviks or the normie Dems. The gameplay has always been go to a normie blue area, take over, and then replace the normies with radicals. Then claim that your insane minority is the majority. Create a false sense of popularity, pretend that the minority is popular, spread it around to the young people, and get them all talking about it. Lenin did this, and then purged the traditional Mensheviks and took over. Therefore, the minority on paper becomes the majority. For Lenin, the Mensheviks weren't radical enough, and for today's socialists, the Democrats aren't radical enough. Mamdani is today's Lenin. You see clips of him all over social media trying to convince you that this is the new wave, this is where we're headed, and this is fetch.
He's wrong.
Most people don't want America-hating, ally-hating, seizing your private property, taxing you out the wazoo, terror-loving, gender-chopping, American flag-wiping candidates. They don't want communists. They want normalcy. Only 10% of New York City voted in this election. Most people stayed home. They don't care. But guess what? Apathy elects crazies. Today it's Congress people, tomorrow it's the Nazi tattoo guy for Senate, and then next year it's AOC for president, and then communists are in charge. Guys, it is time to be more aware of your local elections before it ends up eating you and the entire nation. It got really dark, but that'll be all of America if we don't act fast.
And she's absolutely right. People, this is what they do. They take over your school boards, and then you're shocked when your kid comes out and they're a little socialist. They're a little trained Marxist, and you're somehow surprised by this development. Of course, when was the last time you voted in a school board election? When was the last time parents, COVID really made parents start to pay attention to what their kids were learning. That was the silver lining of COVID. But I bet you most parents don't vote in school board elections. I do. I don't have kids and I vote in school board elections because I'm paying for something I don't use. So I do. You know, and how many, we just had an election here in town about last year, and there's only 3,500 people in our town, so it's small. And that includes, the kids and the young ones who aren't old enough to vote. And I think we had like 400 people vote. Not even. I don't even think there were 400 people who bothered to vote. So I find it hard to tolerate people who complain, but then when you ask them, well, did you vote in the mayoral election? Well, no, because I had blah blah. All right, well then shut up. If voting isn't important to you, then don't complain about the outcome of the people, the choice that the people who bothered to vote made. But they're starting small. They're starting on these smaller elections, and they're going to be in Congress, and their numbers are going to grow pretty quickly. And so you have to, vote in local elections. But I thought that was brilliantly explained. Feel free to disagree with me, but I thought that was really, really brilliant. All right, got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, and we'll be joined by Mike O'Neill shortly to talk about rulings from the Supreme Court and still what has not come down yet. So we'll talk to him about all of that on 1210 WPHT.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, this is Larry Steinis with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Hit the road this season to watch the birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Google's home speaker is getting an AI refresh. The Gemini-powered speaker comes 6 years after Google's last smart speaker, and now Google is looking to take on Amazon's new Echo lineup and Apple's HomePod. There's a new feature with the microphone remaining briefly active after a response for follow-up questions. Google's home speaker costs $100, matching Amazon's newest Echo and Apple's mini HomePod. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back. I'm Mary Walter. If you're just joining us, I will be with you Wednesday. I'm back. And I'm with you till 7 o'clock tonight because I'm doing this show and then I'm doing Rich Zioli's show as well. So you ain't getting rid of me that easy. Joining us now is Mike O'Neill. Mike is the Vice President of Legal Affairs for the Landmark Legal Foundation at the Ronald Reagan Legal Center. You can follow him on X. Look for Mike O'Neill. Thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you on. Thank you for coming.
How are you this afternoon?
Doing great. So, okay, so the Supreme Court came down with some decisions.
Sure.
And they didn't do others. Like, we know the birthright citizenship has not come down yet. And I think we all kind of know how it's going to go anyway. Like, every expert I've heard says they're going to kick it back to Congress, which is going to do nothing. So it's not going to change. pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, my take on that is that they're going to refrain from getting into the constitutional question and just kind of basically what you're saying and say that the executive order is illegal. If Congress wants to pass a law on this, they can pass a law. I think they should pass a law outlawing birth tourism. I mean, I think that's something 90% of Americans would agree with. I don't understand what the hiccup with that would be. Passing a law outlawing birth tourism, allowing Chinese billionaires to come here and have 100 surrogates and then have those kids be automatic U.S. citizens. I mean, that's absurd. I don't see anybody who would reasonably disagree with that kind of law. Yet you're asking Congress to actually do something, which is a task in and of itself. But that's my take on it. I think you're going to see a fractured decision with it tomorrow, but we will see. The court is reserving, I think, probably the highest profile case for its last day, which will be tomorrow.
They're going to go out with a bang, boom. Of course, they're going to do it. They're going to do it tomorrow because I won't be on the air tomorrow. Of course, but that's okay because like you said, we pretty much know where it's going to go. And you talk about the birther tourism. What people don't realize is there are actual China runs. They have buildings. They have hotels where they bring these women in. These women pay. The families pay. Tens of thousands of dollars to the Chinese government. I guess they come here. They have these kids, and when they're 18 years old, if you don't think they're going to come over here and vote in American elections, you are crazy, because that's exactly what China is doing right now. They are building their own little voting block day by day in this country, and we are so stupid. It's the suicidal empathy that is going to get us. One thing the Supreme Court did not do is they did not take up President Trump's appeal of the $5 million sexual abuse and defamation verdict against E. Jean Carroll. Like she said, he defamed me. I'm so concerned about this, and I'm really shocked at this. And I'm not a lawyer, but I look at this and I'm like, the man's trying to defend himself. It was a case that was totally ridiculous how it got as far as it did. She doesn't even remember the year in which it happened. I mean, it could have been somebody else. May not have been Trump for all we know, or maybe it didn't happen at all because the woman's a little loony, and she did say that rape is sexy. She told that to Anderson Cooper, that she had a rape fantasy. I mean, and she had a whole list of men that she claims that assaulted her or raped her. I mean, she listed a whole bunch of them in a piece for The Atlantic. How can they say that someone can't defend themselves and say, no, you still got to pay her $5 million?
Again, the only answer I can get to this is maybe it's a little too isolated a case. Generally speaking, the court will take will take bigger cases. I'm not saying that this is not an important case. Obviously, it is. It's involved the President of the United States. But generally, the court wants to take cases of national importance that are going to be precedental. In other words, have long-standing impact. Now, maybe the court was saying narrowly, we're going to just look at this. This is only involving, there's no larger issue. Other than, I think you can get into a larger issue about defamation, though. I think that might be something that would be a hook here. Is do we begin to loosen our defamation laws here in the country? And I think there's something to be said for that. That might be the national hook. Obviously, the court wouldn't agree with that position by rejecting this. But can you say everything? I mean, so I think that I think that the court could consider this, but I just don't think that they thought it was a broad enough case, as opposed to like the voting case, Watson versus RNC, for example, which really is a big national case. Go ahead.
No. You kind of got muffled there for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were still there. But I thought there were, like, if you're a famous person, if you're well known, the bar for defamation is much higher. She's pretty well known. I mean, she's pretty damn well known.
Yeah, that's true.
So how come it doesn't apply to her? Like, none of the laws apply to this chick. It's amazing.
I know it is. It may be just reluctance to overturn a jury verdict. I mean, that's the best I can come up with on the fly with it. You never really can get into it. I think possibly they just are reluctant to get. Again, I think just possibly reluctant to get into individualized cases here. They say that there's not a broader constitutional or legal principle that applies outside the litigants. So we're going to let this stand and defer to a jury finding here. So I think that's probably, again, I can't really surmise too deeply into their rationale here. That's kind of the best I could come up with of why they wouldn't take something like this. I mean, oftentimes we think about, we can get an appeal to the Supreme Court, but again, those are the court taking, remember, they only take 70 or 80 cases a year. So these appeals to the Supreme Court it's a big reach to get it in these jury decision cases.
I have a question for you on totally different. Is 70 or 80 cases a year a lot for a lawyer?
It's funny, that's a great question you asked, because if you look at historically for the Supreme Court, it would blow your mind out if you look at their docket from the 1800s, for example. You're talking hundreds of cases. I think even maybe 1,000 cases. So 70 or 80 cases for a court is not a lot. I mean, practitioners often speculate that they could take a few more, you'd like to think. It would be good to see, I think, 100, 120. I don't think 70 or 80 is, but when you think about the impact, so I generally don't think it's a lot, and historically it really has dropped. If you look at, again, as I said, look in the 1800s and you see how many cases were decided by the Supreme Court, and you're talking hundreds, maybe even 1,000. So historically it's a very low number. That being said, though, the impact of these cases is immense, right? I mean, we could take any of the decisions today, the Trump versus Slaughter decision, Watson versus RNC, the decision you're talking about tomorrow, Trump versus Barbara regarding birthright citizenship. The impact of these cases is immense because I think the fewer cases you take, they become disproportionately impactful because there's so few and far between.
Yeah. Well, Congress doesn't work, so why should the Supreme Court?
Let me say this. They are doing a lot of good work. The Trump versus Slaughter decision today is a really, really precedential, important decision. So I think it bears some celebration for devotees of separation of powers and recognition of constitutional conservatism and constitutional principles. Trump versus Slaughter is a really, really important decision. This is recognition of a fundamental facet of our Constitution, that the executive power is vested within the president, and that you can't have these holdovers from previous administrations. For example, in this case, Biden holdovers that are operating within the executive branch, in the FTC, for example, that are really working to undermine the president's agenda. Keep in mind, Mary, what's an important principle here is that there's only two individuals in our entire country that are elected by our entire country. And so when President Trump and Vice President Vance are elected to president and vice president, they are given a national mandate to be the heads of the executive branch and to ensure that the executive branch follows behind them. You can't have these individuals working to undermine or circumvent the imposition of their agenda and the agenda of the American people, that's evidenced by their election.
Now, you're talking about there's where President Trump wanted to fire this woman.
Right, exactly.
And she's I remember what happened because I was like, she's just like, no, I'm not leaving. And I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
How does that happen? Like when a radio station gets sold, everybody goes. The person at the front desk, there aren't people at the front desk anymore in radio because nobody can afford them. But when they used to be there, they got fired. Everybody got, and they brought all new people in, right? So I just sat there and I'm like, only in federal government as a federal government employee can you go, no, make me. Right? And so it wound up winding its way through the court. Now, has this woman been paid this whole time?
That's a fantastic question. The Supreme Court stayed so the district court held that the president couldn't fire. The circuit court upheld that decision, saying that she could stay. So I was assuming she'd get paid there. And then the Supreme Court actually stayed that order. So I think she was placed on. I think she might have been technically fired. That's a fantastic question. I mean, maybe she was getting paid. But look, the bottom line here is anything she was getting paid is worth it because now there's a recognition of this important constitutional provision. And let's keep in mind, Mary, this is a power for the president. This isn't just a power for Donald Trump. This is a power that the president has under our constitutional structure. So anything that was any cost in this challenge is well worth it. So if there was some de minimis cost of her salary, which may be unjust in the fact that she was never entitled to be in that position after the president terminated her employment, I think it's a small price to pay for the fact that we have a recognition of this important separation of powers principle.
And let's be fair, it really is just for Republican presidents because Democrat presidents would never be challenged. So their power would never be challenged in court. They would be like, no, he absolutely had the right to do that, and that would be it.
Yeah, and I think this is important. Again, when you see this, and think about this, the administration has all kinds of headwinds that they're operating against right now with trying to advance the agenda that the American people put them in place to do, the president specifically. And think about you're fighting with the courts, you're fighting with these judges, these circuit court and district court judges who are taking every single opportunity to enjoin anything you do from an executive perspective. Now you also have this administrative state. You have these deep state folks that have been in their positions who we know, think about this, who do you think Joe Biden is appointing into the head of some of these agencies at the end of his term? he's appointing the most radical group individuals he can possibly envision, who are with the sole purpose of undermining the Trump's agenda. Now, again, there's a flip side to this coin too. President Trump isn't going to. He could do it, but then a President Harris could fire all those people when she comes into office. Again, an important principle here is that the executive power is vested with the President of the United States. That means he can terminate the employment of all of these individuals, and Congress can't protect them via statute like they've been doing for about the past 90 years.
Interesting. Now, there's a woman, Lisa Cook. She was the Federal Reserve governor, and President Trump tried to fire her, and the Supreme Court said no because the Federal Reserve has to maintain some independence. Is that what it is?
It's about an 80% of this is procedural, 20% is that point you're just making. The 80% is that he didn't necessarily afford her the process necessary. He fired her for cause. In other words, he made the allegation that she engaged in mortgage fraud. And that was the reason for terminating her employment. So that was an actual for cause, so it's a distinguishable case. That being said, though, you're right. There was some distinguishing with the role of the Fed and the monetary policy historically that the Federal Reserve has had, and that power being not necessarily an executive power. Again, I'm getting really technical here, but I'm doing my best to try to distinguish these cases. So there is that narrow carve-out when we're talking about Federal Reserve. But for the overwhelming majority, you're talking 90+% of all these quasi-independent agencies, that executive power is vested with the President of the United States, and he can terminate the employment of those individuals. He doesn't need for cause. He can terminate them at will. Just like pretty much all American workers now, right? When new ownership comes in, as you were saying, we hit the road when new leadership or new ownership comes into any party.
My last job that I was at, we didn't get a desk. You got a drawer, right? Like you just had like a mail thing, right? Like just a drawer. That's all you had, to keep your valuables in that anybody could open. And so I didn't even bother. They're like, "Why do you carry your mug in every day? Why do you carry it?" I'm like, "Because it's less to carry out. Because I don't need a box to put my plant in when I'm heading out the door, with security. So this way I just throw it over my shoulder, put my bag in my briefcase, and out I go. And that's that. I have a question for you regarding Lisa Cook. They never investigated whether she committed mortgage fraud. It seems that Democrats a lot refer to more than one home as their primary residence in states that are very, very far apart. And it's always just like an error. And it seems that they make this error a lot. And I'm a little concerned that these people hold these high positions and they just make these clerical errors all the time. It doesn't seem like they're very competent.
It does. It's an interesting point. And again, I think that might be further investigated now. This presumably was actions that had occurred before she was confirmed to serve on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. But again, it is interesting how you often see that the mortgage fraud allegations arise with a lot of these prominent individuals, and you would think people would be more diligent in how they operate and how they execute those kinds of transactions.
Well, they're all Democrats, so they get away with it. All right, lastly, the biggie, the mail-in ballot thing. Now, Amy Coney Barrett went over with the liberals on this one. And
so did the Chief Justice as well,
Yeah, well, of the ones who are going to go, those are the ones that I'm pretty sure are going to go. But I'm just reading an opinion piece here in Fox, and they said this was just a horrific decision. What did they They basically decided that if, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that with mail-in ballots, if the state decides that they can arrive a month later without a postmark on it, that it's totally fine.
Well, that might be overextending this opinion. That might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration. Now, this opinion was specifically applicable to the Mississippi law. The Mississippi law requires you to have a postmark in 5 days. Now, if they had struck down this law, if they said that the Mississippi law conflicts with the federal law, which I had thought they would do, then obviously, presumptively, that would invalidate a Washington law with what you're talking about, 21 days, or a California law, no postmark required. But right now, those laws, this decision applies to Mississippi law. So there is an open to challenge, and I would recommend doing this, challenging either the Washington law or the California law.
Mike, hold on just a second. I don't know whether you're moving away from your phone, but we're losing you, so I don't know if you've moved.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
No. Okay, go ahead. Try it now. There you are. Good. Sure. There you go. Okay, great. So you were saying it's a Mississippi law, and so it only applies to Mississippi.
Yeah, this is applicable. The court was narrow in its interpreting this case. This is only upholding a Mississippi law. It's not extending out to a California law or a Washington state law. That being said, if it had struck down the Mississippi law, then the California or Washington state laws, the 21 days or the no postmarks, would have been presumptively invalid. But those challenges are still viable, and I would recommend somebody challenging those laws to see whether they conflict with the federal law, because they're even more egregious. But as of right now, unfortunately, the takeaway is, you're right, Mary, is those laws are all on the books. They're all allowed. So the 21 days, the no postmark, all these vulnerabilities that we know are present with mail ballots, unfortunately now are going to be are permissible, at least for the foreseeable future.
Well, you know what? Republican states are going to have to get on board. I know that they don't want to, but sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. That's all I'm going to say. You may not like
Congress
it.
Passes the Save America Act. Right. How about that? I mean, let's just get the Save America Act through Congress to begin to implement some basic levels of security on our voting systems.
Aren't you so cute to think that that would actually happen? Yeah, no, not with John Thune. He's a never Trumper. He never liked Trump, and why he is the Senate Majority Leader is beyond me. But he is, and it's never going to happen with him. Mike O'Neill, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it, and have a wonderful week and a happy Independence Day to you.
Take care. You too, Mary. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. 855-839-1210 if you want to join in, or hit me up on X at Mary Walter Radio. More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
A simple piece of paper. It's something we use every day. For the most part, it does what it's designed to do. It sits there flat on your desk as a placeholder for information. But with a couple strategic folds, suddenly your flat piece of paper becomes an airplane and flies across the room. Your 401k is kind of like that flat piece of paper. It just sits there as a placeholder for your money. Alan Cohen of Spectrum Wealth Partners can show you those strategic moves to take your 401k from just sitting there to creating the income you need for retirement. Call today for a free no-obligation meeting. 856-322-8686. That's 856-322-8686. Or online at SpectrumWP.com.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Well, Lorenzo, the pitch looked good.
Yeah, so green.
USA keeper was decent enough.
Didn't have much to do.
99 minutes.
Not a single goal. Well, Bet365 sure came through, though. I bet $10 and got $150 in bonus bets just for signing up.
At least someone scored.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Pet parents, there are many sources to buy your pet food these days, but at Dogs and Cats Rule, we take special care in selecting our brands based on quality of ingredients, company transparency, and science-based nutrition. Coming into a Dogs and Cats Rule store with a dietary issue, we can help select the proper food. The best part of the visit is the shopping experience. That's Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 locations. For information online, visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
When the doctor informed me that I had to be transplanted, I froze. I was in shock.
Mr. Gatling was on dialysis. He had end-stage kidney failure. Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtual Health.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
I can stay in my own backyard. I thank them for keeping me alive.
Virtua Health, the only transplant center in South Jersey. Here for good. Learn more at virtua.org.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, we are back. Coming up after the top of the hour, Guy Shiraki will be joining us. We're going to talk about the World Cup. Yeah. What is it, Fan Fest? Philly Fan Fest. I know some of the guys were there. I don't think you guys were there, but Henry was there. I know he went. I don't think... Did you guys go at all? I don't think so. And... No, you didn't go, of course not. And after 6 o'clock, Christine Flowers will be joining us as well. I just wanted to share this with you. It's a nice story. I want to go with a little good news here. You know George Michael, who died in, when did he die? 2025? He died last year, right? And he would be 63 coming up. He's the subject of a new book called Tonight the Music Seems So Loud. And he apparently gave away millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he did it quietly. He never wanted anyone to know that it was him. He died with a net worth of around 128 million, but a lot of the money is still being given away by his estate. The estate releases annual statements about donations it has made, so the good work continues. He frequently donated to charities supporting disabled children, cancer research, refugees, and AIDS-related causes. But he was an incredible secret philanthropist. He chose to not have it made public. That was his wish. And he gave away royalties and so much more. You can read about it in Tonight the Music Seems So Loud. I just thought it was so fascinating that he did this anonymously when so many people want recognition for what they do and they do it publicly. He didn't. He was the total opposite. So I just thought it was a nice story to share with you, make you feel good. All right, coming up, Guy Shiraki joining us on 1210 WPHT.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Hey, Dawn here. You know, with gas prices on top of everyone's minds right now, what about a hybrid? There are a lot of gas-saving options available for my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. The Honda hybrid lineup includes the Accord, the Civic, or the CR-V SUV. Take advantage right now of 2.99% financing, 36 months, or 3.99% for 60 months on the CR-V. Experience award-winning hybrid performance today. Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Springfield, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading. PIA-ZZA, PiazzaHonda.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold
I want to
day.
be a football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
If you want to drink, that's your business. If you want to stop, that's our business. We can help. Find Alcoholics Anonymous at AA.org.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. President Trump weighing in on several major decisions from the Supreme Court today. One of those decisions upholds a Mississippi law allowing election officials to count ballots that arrive in the mail late, so long as those ballots are postmarked by Election Day.
The ruling, which a lot of people were waiting for, that was a ruling that was, I think it was very detrimental to honest elections.
The court also rejecting the president's attempts to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook over allegations of mortgage fraud, claims Cook denies.
Chief Justice John Roberts writes for a divided court that the president cannot remove a member of the Federal Reserve Board, quote, for any time, for any reason, without any notice before, and without any judicial check after. Doing so, Roberts writes, would turn for-cause protection into little more than at-will employment. It was a 5-4 decision, with conservative Brett Kavanaugh and the court's 3 liberal justices joining Roberts' majority opinion.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Tomorrow, the court is also expected to issue rulings on cases involving trans athletes participating in college sports and birthright citizenship. Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson sent that bipartisan housing bill, which passed the House and Senate last week, to the president's desk for his signature. Trump has 10 days to either sign it or veto the bill. Otherwise, it becomes law without his signature. Luigi Mangione will stand trial in the federal case against him next January. He's the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in 2024. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says his state trial comes first.
We have these 2 cases for Luigi Mangione, one in the state, one in the federal system. We know the state is primed and ready to begin their trial first. The federal case will happen sometime in the beginning of January. And so it's the idea of what are the final things that we need to put in place to make sure that once we are completed with the state case, how's the federal case going to progress?
And 100 million people are under heat advisors in the eastern part of the country. You're listening to ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
I've been telling you all about the secret war on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now, more news.
Federal charges are now being leveled against former NBA players Malik Beasley and Ed Davis. They're being accused of cooking certain games in an effort to win big online gambling platforms.
This all began, they allege, in January 2024. They listed at least 3 other games where he basically planned to overperform in things like rebounds or underperform in scoring, and then made hundreds of thousands of dollars. They even cite to one text message in this indictment where Davis writes, quote, "The only way you can beat Vegas is through sports betting.
ABC's Peter Haralambous. A 31-year-old woman has become the latest person attacked by an alligator in Florida. ABC's Jim Ryan says it was the third such incident in just a week.
The victim was swimming with friends in a Seminole County river on Sunday when she was grabbed.
It's pretty dark, so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it just caught them completely off guard.
Leo Estupiñan knows the area well.
It's kind of scary hearing about the alligator because I've seen a couple big ones.
The woman later died of her injuries. Animal control officers are trying to trap the alligator that attacked her. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
On the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, the Rocky statue is being replaced by a 12-foot bronze statue of Joe Frazier. The heavyweight boxing champion is best known for beating Muhammad Ali in what many call the fight of the century and was one of the inspirations for the fictional character of Rocky Balboa. I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active, and it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor portrayal.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk. From Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back. Happy Monday to you. I'm Mary Walter. I'll be with you past 6 o'clock because I'm Rich Zioli in the next hour with Christine Flowers. It'll be the girls. The girls will be doing the next hour. And I think we'll probably do some fun stuff as opposed to some serious stuff. Joining us now, though, Guy Shiraki, Senior Fellow at the Commonwealth Foundation. He's a writer for Broad and Liberty and Real Clear PA and former Republican nominee for Congress. You can find him at Phila Freedom Guy. So like Philly, but Phila Freedom Guy. There he is. Welcome. It's good to talk to you. How are you?
I am well. It was a long debate in my house with my wife and me whether we should do Philly Freedom Guy or Phila Freedom Guy or PHL Freedom Guy. These are the things we dwell on when we try not to rip our hair out over the real news.
Yeah, well, that's good. My husband and I just watched 90 Day Fiancé, and it makes me feel better about my life choices. So it's kind of like free therapy, you know? So yeah, I mean, he may not be perfect, but at least I don't have someone trying to scam me for a green card. So, you know, it could be worse. So now
my wife just thinks I scammed her for her income, but that's okay.
All right, so I don't know if you sent this to me or I saw it online or anything, but I really liked it. And you wrote a piece about how the world likes us after all, right? It's how the people from all over the world came here for the World Cup, and they loved America. And before the World Cup, we were hearing, oh, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be horrible, oh my gosh, nothing's going to work. Now, to be fair, trying to get to the stadium in New Jersey that New York told the world was in New York, and then they found out that it was not in New York, it's actually in New Jersey, has been a transportation nightmare for all involved, including those of us who live here. It's just been a disaster. But that aside, they like us. They really like us. Why do you think that is? How
come they're so surprised?
Well, first of all, they like us because we're likable people, despite what American media has told us about us and what American media and CNN and the New York Times have told the world. So first is we are generally nice people. The second myth is we don't like foreigners. The fact is we're a nation of 310 million people. Most of us have grandparents or parents or great-grandparents that were foreigners. We love foreigners. I come from Italian and Irish and German, and my wife from Polish background. We love foreigners. We love immigrants. We just would like them to come here legally, and we'd like them to want to be here and be grateful to be here. But I think the biggest thing most of all is that having had this build-up that, remember they told us they weren't coming, the flights were being canceled, the hotel rooms weren't being booked, what are we going to do? They came in droves, and they like us. And they like us for all the reasons that we take for granted. They love our freedom of speech. They love our air conditioning. They love ranch dressing. They love wings. They love barbecue. They're getting to love cheesesteaks. So they like our culture. They like our way of life. And they found us to be very welcoming and helpful. And I think the other point to sort of tie it up in a bow, Mary, is that at a time where we're so divided and so many Americans are telling us how many flaws we have, the world came to America and told us how cool we are and how good it was. So they've given us a shot in the arm for our 250th birthday.
You know, I love the way that it coincides with 250. You know, this is what President Trump, this is another reason why I think he was not elected. He was denied in 2020. I think he just really loves this. I'm the president during the 250. I'm the president when the World Cup is here. He loves, say what you want about that man, but he loves celebrating this country. He just loves it. And he's like a kid in a candy store with all of this stuff. And he's trying super hard to keep D.C. clean, but they insist on vandalizing it. But he's trying his best to make America shine again, to make it beautiful, to make it something we can all be proud of. But just because he's doing it doesn't mean that it's bad. But the whole thing is infectious. It's contagious. I mean, I watched so many videos of, you know, foreigners at rodeos and just like loving America.
It is great, and one of the things about President Trump is before he became a public figure and declared himself a Republican to run for president, you go back to the clips from the 70s and 80s, whether he was on Phil Donahue or Oprah. The one thing about Donald Trump, the real estate developer, the philanthropist, the guy wondering about politics, was that he loves this country. He thinks it is truly special. It is a gift to be cherished and handed down. And he's getting a chance to celebrate it. But as you said, but politics aside, it's not just that they're going to cities; they're traveling. Again, as I mentioned, Freddie from Germany and all these other folks. They're driving back roads. They're seeing small towns. They're going into diners. They're going into pubs. They're going to little, wing nights that they're seeing on the side of the road. And they do love our ranch dressing, and they are trying to figure out how to take it home. I would have thought in 2026 that Europe had developed enough to figure out ranch dressing, but apparently it's an American secret. But it is just wonderful how they're enjoying it, and with no political overtones. And the thing is, after years of telling us that we're bigoted, we're fascist, we're Christian nationalists, we don't like people, the truth is thousands of people from Europe, Asia, Africa, they're doing their own videos. They're telling the story with no agenda. They want to communicate with their friends back home, and what they're doing without realizing is they're communicating back to us, right? I tried my first cheesesteak. I've been to Buffalo. I'm looking for the wings. I'm on my way to Boston. The Scots did something Americans couldn't do. They made Boston run out of beer. I mean, it's a great story.
Exactly. And, they had to go, a lot of them went to Texas. They got to go to Texas because that's just to them so American. And I saw a guy who invited two couples, one French and one Dutch, maybe, to his ranch to give him. He said, I want them to see the real America. I want them out of the cities. I want them to see, because people in cities, for the most part, not all of them, but a lot of people in cities are where they're blue, they're miserable, they're not, it's contagious too. Not all of them, obviously. But look at Boston. Obviously, a lot of people were embracing them in Boston. Look at FanFest, right? A lot of people embracing it. But he said, I want to get him out of the city. And he invited him to his ranch. And he took them like mudding in the big SUV that he has. And they just thought it was like the best thing in the world. And he took them shooting, and he took them to a rodeo, and he took it to all of these things that is, he was like, this is how I live my life. This is my life. And I wanted them to see the real America. And I thought it was just so cool.
Yeah, and there are thousands of those stories where people, yes, the celebrities are putting them up in 5-star hotels and treating them to fancy meals when they see them, when they come to town. But you're right. I mean, the folks, look, if any of us, if you've ever been blessed to leave the U.S., whether you go to Portugal or Italy or Japan, it's when you leave Tokyo, when you leave Warsaw, when you leave Rome, and go to the small towns, and you meet the Italian grandmothers in the family-owned restaurant that want to cook for you. And if you're a little squeamish about something, she makes you a little plate so you can try it. That's what's happening here. They're saying, hey, you've never had barbecue? Try it. There's 17 different sauces. What would you like? And it's just been a great reminder. I mean, America offers the world back to the world. You can get Japanese food, you can get Tex-Mex, you can get pasta, and you can see the Rocky Mountains. You can see the coastlines. You can see the South, the North. You can go from Seattle to Houston. I mean, it's been amazing. And again, it's, to me, I'm such a fan of America, but I'm getting to love it again because they're loving it and reminding us why. It's our freedoms, our culture, and yes, our air conditioning and unlimited chips and ice water that comes with actual ice in it. These are new experiences, but it reminds us of all the things we take for granted that are just such a part of our wonderful quality of life.
Yeah, there is. I'll send it to you. There's a song somebody made. Somebody made a song, and I don't know if it's AI or not, but I don't care. I like it, and it's cute. They said it was as if the world held a slumber party, and they all came to our house, and everybody came, and the Scots brought this, and this one brought that, and the Japanese brought this, and it was all the different things, and we all just had a big party, which is exactly what it is, and I love it. On a different note, though, I had to share this with you. I don't know if you saw this story. Argentina gave the U.S. authorities, the government of Argentina, gave the U.S. authorities a list of 35,000 people that are banned from soccer matches because that's a punishment in Argentina. Oh. You can be punished where you're not allowed to go in soccer stadiums and you cannot watch the games. So they gave the list to the U.S., including 13,000 parents who are behind on child support. And they sent the database to the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and other international law enforcement agencies ahead of the World Cup matches here. Those who are delinquent on child support payments will no longer be allowed to enter the stadiums. If you don't meet your obligations, you stay out. It's called a safe stands, like the stands you sit in, safe stands database. And the system checks fans' national ID cards at stadium entrances, and they flag people with outstanding arrest warrants or ban them from soccer matches. So on May 13th, they added the roughly 13,000 parents behind on child support to the database because they were afraid that they were going to come to the U.S., spend the money coming to the U.S. to go to the game, and ban them from the U.S. stadiums. So there's people who could be here and they think they're going to the soccer game in America, and then they're like, sorry, can't come in. Because the U.S. is honoring this and not letting them in.
Every once in a while, the world beats us in ingenuity and creativity, and it seems like Argentina did. I wish we would institute that immediately relative to the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, because maybe tickets wouldn't be $900 on StubHub and SeatGeek. I would like that because I would like to go, and I'm just not sure I can do $900 for it. But yeah, if we banned people from football or Flyers, diehard fans from Flyers games, that's an interesting theory. I think we should tell our folks in Harrisburg, we should pass this along, and in Washington, think about this. This is creative. It's a win-win. It opens up seats for people like you and me, but it also maybe it'll kick them in the butt so they actually pay their child support and take care of their kids. It's a win-win.
Exactly. And so this is not all about you. Your stance is not all about you and getting cheap receipts. Is that what it's about? It's not about you, right?
Greater. Look, I'm a giver. It's above and beyond. I just, as a public service.
No, it's about the children.
Well, it is always about the children.
It's about the children.
It is about the children. It is about the children. And we say, many weekends as I'm coaching softball, that's a good reminder to coaches, parents, and the umpires. It's about the children. We say that a lot.
It's about the children. The State Department, now it's unclear whether the U.S. authorities are going to use Argentina's database to bar anyone. Last month, the State Department announced it would begin revoking the passports of people here who owe at least $100,000 in child support. You're not leaving the country. You can't go anywhere. No trip to Jamaica, sweetheart. Your kid needs to eat. But the State Department said it will work with the Department of Health and Human Services to identify individuals with more than $2,500 in unpaid child support. And they're saying approximately how many people could lose their passports. So that's how they're doing it here. But I don't know how we would be able to tell when they're coming in the stadiums here because we don't have the national identity card system, right?
No, and we don't want that.
So then how are they going to implement you're kicking people out so you can get cheaper seats? How do you make your dream come true?
Come on, you mean they're not watching us already when we use our credit cards? When they were going to try and come after us for us for taxes on Venmo if you gave your babysitter $50 to babysit your kids or walk your dogs. Call Elon Musk. He'll figure this out. He'll figure it. There's smart people working for him. There's a way to figure this out and get people to pay their fair share. We'll figure it out. But no national ID cards. None of that business.
On that. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let's talk about school choice. You also wrote a piece on this about how Pennsylvania is going in the opposite direction, and the lovely governor campaigned on school choice. His child goes to a private school, as they all do. Kind of like Gavin Newsom's kids during COVID. His kids were in school because they go to private school. Most of these people, Obama's kids, went to private school, but they'd like to deny, the plebes, the poor serfs who serve them are not allowed to have their children go to private school, even though they pay taxes for their kids to go to public school. They're not allowed to use that, and you assert that that's because of the power that the teachers union has in Pennsylvania and elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, and here there's so much to say, but just a few points here in Pennsylvania. The nation is expanding school choice in individual states. Because of the big, beautiful bill, we have the new federal education freedom tax credit, which we're hoping that Pennsylvania opts into. 37 states have opted in, including New York. Governor Hochul opted in.
That's
At the
right.
very time where we're expanding it, Pennsylvania, the House Democrats last week passed a bill to crush Pennsylvania's plan. And Mary, as you may know, Pennsylvania's plan is 25 years old.
Yeah.
Over 1 million children have been helped. 108,000 are being helped this year. 80,000 were on a waiting list that the demand was so high. So the Democrats looked at this plan, 25 years old, 1 million kids served, 100,000 being helped this year, 80,000 on the waiting list, and they said, you know what we ought to do? We ought to crush it. Why? Because the teachers union hates school choice. And to your point, I think there's a special place in timeout, sitting in the corner of political school, if you will, when you send your kids. When you send your children to Jewish day school or Catholic school or some private academy, or you've moved to a, quote, good school district so that your kids can get into a good school district, or you're a politician in Philly that gets your kid into a magnet school and out of one of the traditional schools, do not lecture me about the merits and wonders of public education and how public education is a melting pot and we have to bring everyone together. Yeah, as a former president used to say, that's malarkey. And what's going on in Harrisburg is an outrage. At the very moment parents want more choice, they're taking it away. And the people leading it, Matt Bradford, moved to a good school district. His kids are in a good school district. The governor sent his children to Jewish day school. How you can deny it, it's marriage like I quote Dave Hardy, who founded Boys Latin. Lots of folks have school choice. They can pay tuition or they can move. What about the people that can't pay the tuition or move? Why are we relegating another generation to poverty when education lifts them up? So last week was the ultimate outrage. Not only are they opposed school choice, but they did it at a time where the popularity's never been higher, where the world is going the other direction. Look, and then they compounded it because they lied. They lied. They lied to their constituents. They called principals and said, stop lobbying me. They called the Catholic bishops and said, take down your social media posts. We didn't do it. And as I would told the Catholic members, you should go to confession on Saturday because you not only hurt the children, all kidding aside, but then you lied about it. They tried to undermine the plan. And at the core, as my column tomorrow will say in Broad and Liberty, not for any complicated reason, Mary, they tried to kill the tax credit program because it works. That's it. There's no flaws. It's popular. Donors give. I remind Pennsylvania residents, there's no taxpayer money. This is a program that allows people like my wife and me, and probably hundreds and thousands of your listeners, to donate. This is to allow us to donate to a nonprofit so that a working class or poor family can send their child and have the choice that my children had. It's so popular, and they killed it for one reason, because it works. Now we're counting on the Senate, a bipartisan majority in the Senate, to stop it dead. They sent a pretty good signal this past week that the Senate's not interested, but the Democrats push on. And as you'll appreciate, the Inquirer was nice enough to write a story about how the Democrats are trying to fix school choice. It's called Fixing It. Killing a program is not fixing school choice. I wish I had the publicist of the Philadelphia Inquirer, but instead you're kind enough to let me on WPHT, and I'm happier for that.
But you know what, though? I think the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Washington Post, the New York Times, print media has debased itself so much. It has whored itself out to the usual groups just for so long now that they're irrelevant at this point, aren't they? I mean, who actually reads this stuff anymore?
Well, yeah. I think the mask is off. I've said that to friends of mine. I think there are, without naming, I think there are there's a relatively small number of TV reporters in the Philadelphia area and columnists, news folks who call the balls and strikes. Who may disagree, but I think call the balls and strike. The problem is, Mary, is that I could name them, and I shouldn't have to be able to pick them out because they're unusual.
Right.
But the editorial content is such that the headlines, the postings on social media, and the stories, I mean, it's like when they would cover Joe Biden and say, I didn't see any dementia, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
How you could watch a bill, how you could see two bills introduced in the House. One, to cut the funding for charter schools in half, and to cut cyber funding for the fourth year in a row, and how you could watch a plan that torpedoes the tax credit, and then let Matt Bradford from Montgomery County say, I'm trying to fix school choice. And they say, oh, okay, let me type that up. Democrats seem interested in school choice. Seem interested. Yeah, the way the folks from the Middle East were interested in the Twin Towers. That's how they're interested in school choice. They're trying to destroy it. And as you said, the reporters at folks like the Inquirer just write it without the slightest bit of curiosity or looking at reality. And the good news is, when they tried to do it in the House, thousands of parents, thousands of donors, thousands of principals, clergy of every faith reached out and said, no, it's a shame we have to go this fight. And it's a shame to me the media, the print media, the legacy media, is not on the side of the parents and the children and school choice. I always tell them, if you care about charter schools, go to a charter school lottery where there are sometimes 2 to 3 times the number of seats and the parents are there and they go home losers. Watch the emotion of the winners. Watch the emotion of the losers. And I don't need to tell that story. Just camera the two families. When it comes to school choice, why are 80,000 parents on waiting lists? And Philadelphia told us that they have a problem with their buildings and they need to consolidate buildings. They don't know what to do with the kids. You know what to do with the kids? Let them go to a school they want to go to. Let them go to a charter school. Let them go to a Catholic school. Let them go to a Jewish day school. This to me, this gets my blood going, because it's you're taking the American dream away from kids in the name of public education, as a phrase being spouted at me by people who didn't use it for themselves and their kids. It's an outrage.
No, I agree with everything that you've said. The hypocrisy drives me crazy. It just drives me absolutely crazy, and they have no shame. So when you take away any kind of sense of shame, you could do whatever you want, because hypocrisy doesn't matter to you. Your morals are mutable, your standards are mutable, and it all depends on the situation as to which way you feel about it. And they get away with it. But this is why parents, like I was just talking about, parents have to go to school board meetings. Right? How many parents show up at school board meetings unless they're fighting a battle? They don't show up. How many parents run for school board meetings? How many parents vote? You know, I just, it's a problem that has a solution, but people only react. They're not proactive. They're reactive to this problem. And after it's all done, they're like, and you walk away a loser because your kid didn't win in the lottery. Well, there doesn't have to be a lottery. There's another solution here. And think of how many more seats would be available in these schools if we got rid of the children who are in this country illegally, taking a seat that an American citizen could have.
Well, taking the seats illegally and taking the seats of people who don't want to be there.
Right.
Look, again, with you and some of the other hosts, I've talked about the test. Look, I wish public education worked. And Mary, I wish money fixed it. I've said this before. If I thought another $1 billion or $2 billion did it, I'd call Doug Mastriano on the phone and say, hey, Doug, cough up the $2 billion. If I thought for $2 billion that Philadelphia could get the test scores they get in Mississippi, where 85% of the children can read at grade level, 85%. We have 30 in Philadelphia. Mississippi's at 85. And Mary, they spend half the money. They spend $12,000 a year. We spend $25 in Philadelphia. So I wish it was about money, right? I wish it was about money. We would fix it. But the lectures about it from people who don't use it, the hypocrisy, as you said, is just shameful. And using these kids as pawns. Strawberry Mansion High School, my one little factoid of the day. Strawberry Mansion High School should hold up to 2,000 children. There are about 120 children in that building, because every mom, dad, or grandmom that could get their kid to another public school, a magnet school, a charter school, or as we have learned, or who could lie and say their kids really live in Bucks or Montgomery County, has done it. The 120 left are the refugees. They're, to bring up an image that dates me, they're the people that tried to get on the last helicopter out of Saigon and didn't. They jumped. They tried. They're too poor to move. They're not politically connected. They don't have a cousin in Abington they can pretend where their daughter lives, and they're stuck. They're stuck in a school that no politician in city council, no state legislator would send their kid to. And as you said, it's fixable. It's fixable. There are other schools that would gladly take them. And if you surveyed the moms, dads, and grandparents raising them, they'd say, please rescue my kid. And it's not that hard. And we can do it for less money. We don't need more. For less money, we can get better value. That's why it's so sad and frustrating to me.
Yeah, no, I agree it. I get it, and I agree. I agree it.
Me too.
I agree, and I get it. But again, the problem can be solved, but people have to want it badly enough to get out and make a difference and demand it over and over and over again, and do it at the ballot box. Run for office. Run for the school board if you want this stuff to change. People have to start getting involved instead of sitting back and letting other people get involved and then complain about the outcome. Complaining is easy.
No, I mean,
so
it's
part of it,
right?
But
that's a lot of our issues, right? I mean, from crime to the border, it's being vigilant, right? Our nation requires eternal vigilance, and what we've learned is a generation of people who can't read, who don't know the difference between socialism and capitalism. I mean, the problems are numerous, but when you relegate children to a school where nobody can read and write, all the other discussions go by the wayside.
Right.
We graduate kids in Philadelphia, we graduate kids in Norristown, we graduate children in Harrisburg that literally can't read and write. They can't keep a checkbook. You say, well, you got to check your app and make sure your checking account's right. They can't do that. We've crippled them.
Yeah.
aside from undermining their values, aside from telling them you can't trust your parents. But you're right, it's all fixable, but that's why what you're letting me do helps, because people have to reach out to the legislators and say, this is enough. This is enough. This is the line in the sand. Rescue these kids and don't trap them to places they don't want to be, where you wouldn't send your own children.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Guy, great conversation. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I appreciate it. I always like getting to speak with you, so hopefully I'll get to talk to you again soon. Have a great week and happy Independence Day.
Happy birthday, America. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Mary.
you.
Take care.
Take care. All right, more coming up, 1210 WPHT.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future. And that way, you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com and get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. And I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
All right, we're enjoying our summer vacation, 4th of July, America's 250th, whatever it is. It's also time to think about your home. Hey, it's Rich Zioli, and even though I'm not with you this week, I know that if you're looking for a contractor who can help, you got to think about my friends at Emmons. EmmonsRoofing.com. Emmons delivers protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons is my go-to contractor for roofing, siding, and windows. And they even have a new bathroom division, and they remodeled the kids' bathroom, and it looks just absolutely amazing. Emmons doesn't just make your home look great, it makes it stunning from the curb. Energy efficient, secure, and ready to withstand the elements. You're gonna get top quality, American-made products. It's gonna increase your home's value and make your home more beautiful. From lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, to siding that insulates, to windows that blend style and performance, Emmons has you covered. Go to EmmonsRoofing.com. My great friends at EmmonsRoofing.com.
Shopping for fine jewelry should feel personal. At Cozy Jewelers, it's a curated experience. You meet directly with Paul, the designer and manufacturer, and create something completely custom. And here's what surprises people. Custom doesn't mean more expensive. It means better quality, better craftsmanship, and direct value. Step up to the 5th C. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy. Design your perfect piece at Cozy Jewelers.
Searching for a new path to wellness? Dr. Molly Fantasia explains how medical hydration therapy can help you reclaim your energy. Listen to Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
Hey, welcome back. We're not done yet. I'm not even saying goodbye to you for like another hour and a half. Christine Flowers will be joining us at the top of the hour. Okay, I was sharing the story with the guys, and I'm like, I have to share the story on the air, okay? Because I'm doing 7 hours of radio today, so I'm at this point, all right? Because I saw this story, I'm like, oh, I got to share this. So doctors thought this guy is 60 years old. He's got headaches. He had 2 weeks of progressive headaches and mild behavioral changes. So they do brain scans on the dude, and the CT scans showed multiple abnormal spots that looked like tumors that had spread from cancer elsewhere in the body. So metastatic cancer from somewhere else. So they're like, oh, dude's got brain cancer. So he gets a whole body scan. Nothing. He gets a colonoscopy. Nothing but that horrible drink, right? Specialized imaging. They cannot find cancer in this dude's body anywhere. Can't find the cancer. So they performed a more detailed MRI, and they discovered that what they thought were the tumors in the brain were several fluid-filled cysts in his brain, which contained tapeworm eggs and tapeworms. And a blood test confirmed the diagnosis of neurocysticercosis. He was treated with a combination of drugs, as well as corticosteroids, inflammation, and he successfully recovered with no complications. Now, he had not been traveling anywhere. Now, this happened in Spain, but he had not been traveling anywhere where he would have picked up tapeworms like that. So they say he may have gotten the infection after accidentally ingesting microscopic tapeworm eggs years earlier. So these little suckers, which you would think that the pH in your stomach would kill something like that, because it's basically battery acid, right? So it would kill tapeworm eggs if you eat it. Like, that's what would happen. They'd be fried in your belly. But apparently these little suckers, if their theory is true, made it through there, made it into the intestinal tract, where I guess they set up shop, and then they just migrated to his brain over the course of years. Oh, can you think of anything creepier? Like, there's worms in your head. Oh, the voices in mine bother me enough. I can't even imagine worms. Now, they say it may have occurred while working with a construction job with migrant co-workers from regions where this neurocysticercosis is endemic. And people can catch the pork tapeworm in 2 different ways. Eating undercooked infected pork usually leads to an intestinal tapeworm, which was why my mother used to... Do you remember Shake and Bake? I'm going to go off on a tangent. Do you remember Shake and Bake? So my mother, when Shake and Bake came out, which is basically salt in a package, my mother thought that Shake and Bake was the greatest thing ever, so it was made it easy. So my memory of Shake and Bake was just very salty, and my mother was so afraid of what trichinosis is. That's what you get from eating undercooked pork. That my mother cooked that pork within an inch of its life. You could hammer nails in with that pork when my mother was done with it, the pork chop. It was terrible, and it was coated in that salt. And I just remember as a kid picking the pork chop and like gnawing at it with my teeth because I couldn't cut it to eat it. So we never had to worry about getting tapeworms that way. And to this day, I'm not a huge pork chop fan because of the combination of shake and bake and my mother's penchant for just burning the crap out of it so we didn't get worms. So eating undercooked infected pork usually leads to an intestinal tapeworm, but accidentally swallowing the eggs through food or water contaminated with feces can send the larva into the bloodstream, and that's how they get around your body, into your brain and other organs, and that's how you wind up with fluid-filled sacs in your brain with tapeworms in it. Have you ever seen tapeworms? Like, oh, it's so gross. So, yeah, be careful. That's like a new fear unlocked. Here we go. Great. Now I got something else to fear. I don't know how that would happen, though. I don't know how you could possibly do that anyway. Okay. I want to talk about John Fetterman, who's become like the most sane person there is out there. He and Mike McCormick got together, as I'm sure you guys know. I love that they work together. I think the two senators from Pennsylvania are such a great example of what can happen when you're not mentally ill. When you are not constantly looking for a gotcha on Trump, or you're constantly having to defend Trump, where you can actually work together for the betterment of the people that you're serving. As I said, I don't agree with everything John Fetterman votes for. I think he votes the wrong way for a lot of things. However, I do admire his willingness to work with McCormick and McCormick's willingness to work with Fetterman. I really admire it. And as I said, I think this is just a blueprint for how it should be and how it used to be. But when they heard that the space for Pennsylvania, Shapiro wasn't sending anybody because he hates Trump now. I thought he was moderate. Who the hell knows? I don't know what's happening. But he apparently, I couldn't get anybody. Well, Fetterman and Shapiro got together. They heard about it. They got some companies to donate some things, and they put together a display for Pennsylvania's display. Well, it's like a tent type thing, but it's hard-sided at the fair, and They got it together. And so now Pennsylvania will not go unnoticed at the fair. I mean, it's a chance to showcase your state. Why would the governor not want to showcase the state? And New Jersey, same problem, except Cape May County is like on it, and Cape May did a display. Why? Because you hate Trump? You hate America? What is the problem? What is the excuse for not wanting to showcase your own state? And Senator McCormick says, Pennsylvania is where America's story began, and there was no way we were going to let the Commonwealth go unrepresented during our nation's 250th birthday celebration. As the birthplace of American independence, home to the hallowed grounds of Gettysburg and the engine for the arsenal of democracy, Pennsylvania has a special responsibility to preserve, celebrate, and share that enduring legacy. He's absolutely right. So kudos to the two of them for making some phone calls, getting some companies involved, and getting it done, which says to me that the governor didn't try. Don't even try. You didn't try. You didn't try to get anybody involved. Don't tell me you put out bids and nobody responded, so you only had to go with the one guy who did. No. It says to me he did not try, and it doesn't make any sense, and I think it's shameful. And whether you're left or right, you should be proud that you should want Pennsylvania to be showcased at this fair. It's kind of like the old World's Fair from back in the day. They used to have a World's Fair. It was like the big thing, and the latest technology and all that stuff. I don't even think they do that anymore. Do they? I don't even know. But you've heard about the World's Fair, right? So it's kind of like that thing. And people are walking through the different exhibits to see. And one woman said, it's really cool because I get to go to every state a little bit without traveling to every state. And some states, like Maryland, I think it is, just has like 2 chairs in there so people could sit down because they're boycotting. They're boycotting America. Idiots. All right. So staying on with John Fetterman here. And we're going to get cut 12 ready. John Fetterman it was on TMZ. And he's making the rounds. I mean, he's everywhere. Did you have that on your bingo card? Because I did not. I did not have John Fetterman being the media darling that he is. And so Larry David did an interview with Variety, and they were talking about Trump's celebration of the 250th and talking about the UFC fight that was at the White House on the grounds. And Larry David told Variety, referring to the UFC fight, that because he has a new show coming out, Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness, which I don't know if it's an act for him or if he just is really a miserable person, because he really does seem miserable. He said it was a travesty. What else can you say about it? It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be an American. I am so sick and tired of liberals saying they're embarrassed to be an American. You got the money, get the hell out. Go someplace that you're going to love to live. Go someplace better. But they don't. To their credit, Rosie Ellen left. Ellen's back. Rosie came back to make money, and then she's going to leave again. But Larry David has enough money to get out. Go, Larry. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. So John Fetterman was on with TMZ, and they asked him about the comment that Larry David made. So here is John Fetterman.
Larry David right now is going viral because he said that the UFC event at the White House made him embarrassed to be an American. To that you say what?
I'd say lighten up, Francis. You know, really kind of get over himself. You know, like, hey, I'm proud to be American. And if you are embarrassed or whatever because of a UFC thing, get over yourself, dude.
Wait, what do you mean,
Real
Francis?
Quick on Pfizer. Oh.
You know, like, seriously, like, get over yourself, dude.
So the reporter didn't get the whole lighten up Francis comment, didn't get it, because it's from Stripes, the 1981 movie Stripes. It was a Bill Murray reference. And so, of course, young people don't know anything that ever happened before they were born. They don't know the movies, they don't know the music, they don't know the culture, they know nothing. And so, of course, he's like, what do you mean by the name Francis? What do you mean? So I thought it was great. You know, Fetterman just has this ability to just, you know what, he's like the Democrats' version of John Kennedy or Tim Burchett, who just say it. They just say it. I don't think John Fetterman's worried about never getting reelected. I think Fetterman's in a little bit of a hard spot because he does vote with the Democrats most of the time, but the Republicans love him too, because, and you know what, if you're one of his constituents and he represents you the way you want him represented, you should be proud. I think you should be really proud of him, Democrat or Republican, of the two senators who got it together and said, screw partisanship, we're going to do what's best for the state of Pennsylvania. That's not seen very often, and you should be really proud of that. So kudos to them both. All right. I just had to play that for you, and I had to tell you about the brainworm because that was just so disgusting. More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
This year, America celebrates 250 years, 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Your freedom to relax starts at Springdance Hot Tubs. Now through July 12th, save up to $5,000 on new hot tubs. Plus, buy any 3 hot tub products and get the 4th for just $1. Visit springdancehottubs.com. Offers end July 12th.
Well, Lorenzo, the pitch looked good.
Yeah, so green.
USA keeper was decent enough.
Didn't have much to do.
99 minutes.
Not a single goal. Well, Bet365 sure came through, though. I bet $10 and got $150 in bonus bets, just for signing up.
At least someone scored.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Bring on the fun and bring home a new Honda with a great deal on your favorite Honda vehicles. And finally take that road trip you've been dreaming of. Now's the time to check out the Honda Civic and HR-V. From Honda, the 2026 KBB.com Best Value Brand. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 3.49% APR on a 2026 HR-V.
Visit Piazza Hyundai of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield today.
See dealer for financing details. Based on 2026 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Welcome back. I was enjoying the music. Oh, there's so much to talk to you about. We don't have any time. Ugh. Well, maybe on the Rich Zioli show coming up next, where I'll be, and Christine Flowers will be joining me at the top of the hour. Maybe we'll get to some of it there because I have so many things to talk about. I do wanted to let you know this because I do find this interesting. It's not like interesting in a brain in your worm, worm in your brain interesting. This is like good to know interesting, and I never knew it. So a former Emirates airline employee explained that you should never wear shorts on planes. You should never wear a skirt on a plane and never wear shorts on a plane because, listen to this, if the plane is forced to land, like an emergency landing, and you have to use that slide to get off the plane, you need protection from the friction, the speed combined with the material of the slide, because it's like coated in something to make you slide fast, to get you off, to get you away from the plane. That combination can be so powerful that you can have your skin ripped off. Did you know that? I had no idea. Thank God I have had no idea because I never had to ride down the slide. Because I'm going to be that person with my pocketbook. The heck with the rest of you. I will not take my luggage. I'll leave my luggage. The pocketbook with my like passport and stuff's coming. I'm sorry. That's coming. I got to be able to get my car out of the parking lot. You know, that's coming with me. And I know you're going to yell about, but I'm not going to be that person with the carry-on trying to get down the slide. But yeah, the former employee said this was the best word of advice, is that especially in an emergency, when you're trying to get out quick, the stuff on the slide is designed to get you down as fast as possible, and it burns, like to the point where if you're sliding down, you're supposed to keep your hands on top of your thighs, because if you use your hands on the slide, your hands will get burned and your skin could get burned off. Because like you get off the burning plane and you find out you got your butt burned, or the back of your thighs burned, like had the skin ripped off on the slide. Nobody tells you that. And then a pilot's wife warned travelers about don't wear a flowy dress, ladies, because it can bug out the x-ray because of all the air that can get under there and hold you up at screening checkpoints. The pocket of air a flowy dress makes could cause a dense area to show up that the machine cannot see through, so you can find yourself getting the extra back down and be in trouble. Also, apparently, not being sweaty is a good thing in the body scanner, which I just think if you're going to get on a plane with people, not being sweaty is good in general, because it can alter the density of your clothing and you can find yourself on another pat down. So, yeah, no shorts on the flight. Good to know. See, look at me making you smarter all the time. All right, coming up, I'm in for Rich Zioli, and my guest is Christine Flowers, and that is next on 1210 WPHT.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Summer is here, and that means pool days and patio nights. But is your uneven concrete making your backyard feel more like a construction zone than a vacation spot? Stop worrying about stubbed toes and stumbles. Keystone Guncrete can level your pool deck and patio quickly and cleanly, saving you thousands over the cost of pouring new concrete. We'll have your backyard party ready before your water even gets warm. Head to KeystoneGuncrete.com. Remember, Guncrete is spelled with a K. Mention 1210 and we'll take $50 off your project.
I'm Shanola Hampton. I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Philabundance is the region's largest hunger relief organization, serving more than 90,000 people each week. Almost a third are children. Help feed those in need at philabundance.org.
From ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. All eyes will be on the Supreme Court tomorrow, with major decisions expected on cases involving birthright citizenship and trans athletes in college sports. Today, the justices voted to uphold a Mississippi law allowing mail-in ballots that arrive late to be counted.
A number of voting advocates I had talked to were particularly concerned that if the ruling went the other way, it could disenfranchise voters in rural areas, disabled voters, those sorts of things. But this now means that those policies will stay in place unless Congress takes some action in the near future to change them and put some limits on what states can do.
ABC's Devin Dwyer. President Donald Trump now has 10 days to either sign or veto the bipartisan housing bill, which passed the House and Senate last week. But in the Oval Office, the president told reporters he'd rather see election reform.
Here's what I would like to sign. Much more than a bill, that big deal. It's a yawn. Some people say it's wonderful. To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn.
Speaker Mike Johnson responding.
The only way to get that to the president's desk, we've been shown many times, is to put it on a reconciliation bill. So that is in process. We have a plan to do that and tie it to reconciling the budget.
Today, we learned Luigi Mangione, the accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, will stand trial in Manhattan federal court in January 2027. ABC's Aaron Katersky.
These dates now seem pretty firm, and the only question is which juries will hear that, and the jury selection is going to be fairly elaborate. Hundreds of people, beginning in just a few months, will begin filling out questionnaires. And the whole idea is to weed out any biases, get a fair and impartial jury of 12 with 6 alternates.
You're listening to ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
I've been telling you all about the secret war on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
A collision today between a drone and a JetBlue flight as the plane was making its final descent into JFK Airport in New York today. The plane landed safely, and the FAA says it's investigating. Speaking of drones, federal authorities now say they've brought down around 500 drones around World Cup match sites and parties across the country. We now know the date of the retrial of former South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh. He's facing murder charges in the deaths of his wife and son. Murdaugh will now stand trial in April after the South Carolina Supreme Court threw out his conviction earlier.
He guided the... For the first time since South Carolina's highest court overturned the double murder convictions of his son Paul and wife Maggie, Alex Murdaugh back in court appearing for a hearing on a retrial. Judge Deborah McCaslin setting a new trial date.
I'm thinking April the 5th.
Murdaugh appearing in court shackled and wearing an orange jumpsuit. His legal team requesting he be allowed unshackled and in plain clothes.
ABC's Michelle Franzen. And funeral services were held today for Clive Davis, that legendary music producer credited with discovering music greats, including Janis Joplin, Whitney Houston, and Bruce Springsteen, who spoke at the service in New York City.
He guided the listening public towards so much powerful and inspiring music. And he not only loved music, Clive actually loved the people who made the music.
Davis passed away at 94. I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Hot summer days and high energy bills are on the way. Upgrade your home's old leaky windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4 Get 4 free sale. Yes, half of your new beautiful energy efficient windows free. Plus no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Call now 866-200-8670 or windownation.com. In select markets, trust our family of brands, New South Window and ArmorView. That's 866-200-8670 or windownation.com to book a consultation.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Well, welcome to the Rich Cioli Show. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. How is everybody? Yeah, you're doing good. I'm having a great day. I've been very busy. But I'm going to wrap it up with you, because that's how I want to spend the end of my Monday night. I'm going to wrap it up with you. And I do have a Rich for you. I know, Rich for you. See, this is what happens. I have a note for you from Rich. Yes, I'm in for Rich today. I'll be in for Rich on Thursday as well. He is off this week. He's back on Monday, taking a little bit more time to recuperate. He's doing great, and he'll be back with you on Monday. So have no fear. Rich will soon be here. See how that works? Christine Flowers is joining us. Christine is an attorney. She's a commentator, and she's an all-around great gal. And I do enjoy her. You can find her on X at FlowerLady61. She's also on my live cast with me. She hasn't been on in a while, but she does pop in here and there. And we have some great conversations. And, of course, she is a friend to WPHT as well. Ms. Christine, you there?
I am, darling. And it's kind of funny that you would say that you could find me on X. For the next 6 days and 22 hours, you cannot find me on X because I've been suspended.
That's hilarious. What did you do?
Okay, so this morning I just happened to log on to my X account, and there was this woman who had reposted something about these pro-Palestinian protesters, and she was basically saying, "Oh yeah, well, if they went to Gaza, Israel would just bomb them." So I kind of just reposted something, and I said something along the lines of, "Yes, please, Israel, do us all a favor." I mean, it was a joke. It was sarcastic. And
yeah, did you put the laughy face after it?
I forget. I just assumed that to be honest, it wasn't really that ironic because I'm not feeling very, affectionate towards pro-Palestine protesters. But anyway, so I get, I had my whole day. I went to immigration court. I had the federal court hearing, blah, 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 blah. So I checked my personal email, and I have a little message from the Twitter people, the X people, and it basically said, "Well, your tweet violated our standards against hate speech, so you're suspended for a week." And it said, if you want to appeal, you can. So I clicked the little appeal button, and it said, "What is the reason for your appeal?" And I said, "I was retweeting someone else's hate speech, so it's not my fault." And I immediately get something back saying, "Well, that's not a good reason for your appeal. So you're still... you're still under suspension, and if you want, you can delete your tweet." And I emailed them back and I said, "I'm not deleting my tweet. I don't care." And then they immediately emailed me back and said, "Thank you for your email response. We don't respond to these emails. This is an automated response." I'm like, whatever. Anyway, so I retweeted someone else's hate speech back at them, and now I'm suspended. And I said, "Well, why isn't the other person suspended?" And they won't give me an answer.
Oh, the other person's not suspended?
No. So apparently you can post anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic hate speech, but if you post back at that person and sort of say Hamas is bad, then you've engaged in hate speech. So now I'm suspended because I said mean things about Hamas.
You're such a troublemaker. My mother told me she doesn't want me playing with you anymore. Like, you're that girl. I don't want you going over to Christine's house. I think she's a bad influence.
I am. I really am. What can I comes naturally. But anyway, so I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. But you know what? I don't care. I have 2 other accounts. So I'll just stalk myself and everybody else with my other accounts.
There you go.
Which is what I do on Facebook, too.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook very often. Facebook has become it's become the modern day version of the Super 8 movie, where everybody's got to show me pictures of their kids, their kindergartners, granddaughters' graduation. I'm like, why is anyone graduating from kindergarten? Why is this a thing? Oh, they just graduated from nursery school. Aren't they so cute? I'm like, no, this is stupid. We were always told you're only graduating 2 times, maybe 3 if you're lucky.
I remember, didn't you get in trouble? And I supported you on this because you said something very commonsensical about why are we having kindergarten graduations? And someone was like, "Well, why do you have to be so cruel and mean?" And this I almost wanted to say, I understand if you think that this is the only graduation this child is ever going to, ace and have, but still, I mean, kindergarten graduations are now a thing. Pretty soon it's going to be, made it out of the womb graduation.
Everything is a major life event now. Everything requires invitations and everything. But you know what it doesn't require? And I'm going to go off on a tangent, and I did not mean to go here. Thank you notes. Thank you notes are not a thing anymore. Have you gone to a wedding lately? So we went to a wedding, and everything's a QR code because they're not spending money on the reply card with the envelope and the stamp, and I get it. Fine. But it's a QR code now, and you respond. It takes you to a place where you respond to which entree you want. If you're coming, blah, blah, blah. Are you staying at one of the hotels? You're going to need transportation, blah, blah, blah. You got to do all this, right, on this QR code. It takes you there. And then everybody wants money. Nobody wants, because they don't want stuff. They don't want China. They don't want this. They want that. Please give me money for our honeymoon or for our starting life, whatever. Right. So everybody wants money. And they have like a Venmo that you can just deposit the money in. It's all sanitized. You don't even write a check anymore. And, the old days in Jersey of just an envelope of cash are all gone, right? So you can just Venmo to just click this QR code, click here, whatever, and you can get it. And do you know that we received a quote-unquote thank you from the bride and groom of a wedding we went to, pre-printed envelope, pre-printed card inside that just thanked us for attending. We hadn't even given them a gift yet. We hadn't sent it yet. But you don't even are you kidding? Like, that's the thank you now? Thank you for attending or sharing our day with us. And it's done by one of the companies like Snapfish or Vista, whatever it is. And they don't even touch it. They just give them the list of names. They pick out the card, and somebody somewhere flips them in an envelope, addresses it to you, and sends it off.
I know. It's pretty. It's pretty. Yeah. I mean, it's very robotic. I mean, those little Waymo little robots that deliver your food, the ones that I see on the streets of Philadelphia going up and down with the little antenna. They're tiny little robots, and they deliver your food for you. They have more personality these days than the brides and the grooms. It's just, I don't know. And where I live in a condo where there's also a banquet hall on the other side of the building. So there are a lot of events that they have in this building. And I have seen the strangest iterations of what should be a wedding, but it's more like a Broadway performance. Like the bride is now, and her bridesmaids are now doing choreographed things that Lin-Manuel Miranda would be putting on Broadway, and then the groom does the same thing. And I'm like, it's like the Osmond family is getting married every single week in this building. I don't know. It's depressing. And then don't get me started on the engagement shoots, not the, they used to be, okay, you take a picture, you announce your engagement, right? And you put it in the newspaper, and that's fine. That used to be a thing. Now they're all choreographing the surprise engagement moment when the guy gets down on his knees at the edge of a cliff to give the girl the ring, and she's like feigning surprise, and the sunset's in the background, and there's music, and they're taking photos, and then they take multiple photos of how they're falling into each other's arms, and I'm so surprised that you picked the ring that I told you to buy for me. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm so glad, Mary, that I'm not married, and there's absolutely no possibility of me getting married, getting hitched, getting attached, possibly going to a wedding, maybe as a guest, but I'm so over this, over-processed. It's like Velveeta cheese. There's no longer authentic cheese out there. It's all Velveeta, people.
Well, I will say Velveeta is tasty in some dishes, and it does have its place. All right, I want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I want to go to this first. I wanted to start out with this, and we went off. I went off on a tangent. I blame myself for this. And look at the time already.
Dragged me along with you too.
I did drag you along with me. So last week, I just had to get into this with you. Brandon Gill, who is becoming a star, because I love the way he talks. It's so flat. It's entertaining. And there was a subcommittee on delivering on government efficiency, which is a DOGE, and they held a hearing on combating waste, fraud, and abuse in SNAP. And during the hearing, members were talking about the root causes of waste, fraud, and abuse within SNAP. So Brandon Gill is talking to the director of SNAP Policy and Advocacy at the Food Research and Action Center. Her name is Gina Plata-Nino. And I think you'll get a kick out of this exchange here. Here we go.
Should SNAP dollars be spent on sodas? The purpose of the SNAPS program is to provide families to have food and beverages.
Should it be spent on sugary sodas?
I am happy to talk about hunger and nutrition, but not dictate what Americans should or should not eat or may have access to.
I'm asking if tax dollars should be used to pay for sodas.
Taxpayers' money should be utilized to ensure that individuals have access to the food that they need to survive or may be accessible to them.
Do they need sugary sodas to survive?
Some of them do, who do have low blood issues, who may
Is that right?
who have kidney issues.
You think they need Coca-Cola to survive? Do you think that's the most appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I am not a physician, but medical records and expertise
You were
do
just
show that in
citing
some
the
circumstances
health
they do.
needs, apparently, of the American people.
So that to me was absolutely hilarious. And then he went on to say, "Oh well, is your group funded by blah 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 blah?" And of course, listen, it's in. I get it. It's in ConAgra and whoever owns all of these different snack foods and sodas and everything. It's in their best interest to make sure that that people can still use SNAP in order to get that stuff, because otherwise their base is going to dwindle and they're going to lose money. So I get it. So. I don't know. I just love. I like Brandon Gill. I think he's hilarious with the way he speaks.
I think he's fabulous. I've seen him, and you're right. I love his affect. It's very. He just keeps asking the same question: do you need Coca-Cola to survive?
Yeah, because
he comes back with this blood sugar nonsense. So yeah, like I need Coca-Cola to keep me alive, else I'm going to be on life support or something.
There's a character who's on. He goes, "So, do you need Coca-Cola to survive?" He's kind of got like that Midwest thing going on there. I just love it. All right, I'd have to share that because I thought that was so funny. In an essay for Business Insider, this mom named Cheryl McGuire was talking about how she and her daughter, who's 21, were going to go on what they called a nostalgic trip to Kirk's and Caicos, and they were going to recreate photos that they had taken from past trips to the island. And of course, they're both older now, and so they were going to do this, and it was a fun thing. And it was a grand opening of a new resort that they were going. This resort must have been redone, but they were doing this grand opening. So they're getting ready to leave, and they were going to leave from Boston, right? But her daughter lives in New York City, and they're getting ready to go, and the daughter realized she left her passport in her New York City apartment, and there was no way to get her passport to Boston, where they were flying from. So Mom left her behind. Mom was like, "See ya." Mom admits Mom said her daughter has a penchant for being forgetful and not thoughtful and not planning. And so she said, look, it was a grand opening. Changing the trip plans were not an option. She said, if it hadn't been tied to an event, I probably would have rescheduled. She said, I felt bad for leaving her daughter behind. But Mom says this has taught her daughter not to be so forgetful, be a little bit more mindful of things. I don't know. My mother would leave me there too.
I mean, okay. I don't know. I think part of me is like, good, Mom, that's tough love. And the other part of me is like, was this trip so important to Mom that she's gonna basically leave the daughter behind, and it's really, not looking behind? I don't know. I'm torn. And I know a lot of people out there are like, yo, Mom, go, Mom, that's great. We've coddled these people too often. But as someone who is extremely forgetful, who leaves her keys, who, lost her passport in Europe, who has done those things that, people do when they're not attentive to what they're supposed to be doing, I don't know. I would be really, really annoyed. Did the daughter have any input into the essay, or was it all from Mom's point of view?
It was Mom's point of view. But
Did
listen.
she say how the daughter reacted? Was there like a denouement, like an epilogue?
No. There was a paywall, so I didn't get to read the whole thing. So I'm not paying for Business Insider just to read the whole damn story. So I only have the summary of the story. But here's the thing: she's 21 years old. Number one. Number two, my mother would have done the same thing. My mother would have said, look, meet me there. I don't know why. I don't know if the daughter did. People in the comments were saying that the daughter, because it was also on X, the comments were saying, well, why didn't the daughter just go there to meet mom? Like, why didn't she just go to Turks and Caicos a day late, right? Like, you're 21 years old. Get your way back to New York. You're going to have to figure it out, sweetheart. My mother said that to us when we were like 9 years old. Figure it out. Whatever it was, figure it out. So she'd have to get her way back to New York City, get her passport that she forgot, and get back and reschedule her flight while she's at it, and then go back to the airport. I mean, that's what you have to do. She's 21 years old.
Well, and I mean, I get it. I do get it, especially if she's able to go there. But it's funny. I guess because I grew up in a community of Italian women who were very much hands-on, and they would take care of everything for you, which is probably why I still end up losing my passport and everything, because I never learned to be able to organize myself. But there are those who train you how to live on your own, and then there are those who do it for you. It's kind of like the old Chinese thing: give a person a fish and they've got a meal for a night, teach them how to fish, and they can, survive for the rest of the... Well, I guess this mother taught her how to fish, basically. Find a passport and you'll get the... I don't know. Anyway,
some people
I would understand why mom did it. I would still probably not send her a Mother's Day card next year.
Well, I don't know. I think it depends on the relationship. Some people need to learn through experiences, because you can tell them a zillion times, and they're never going to get it. They're never going to get it. It's never. And I just had this experience, and I had an experience. There's a group of us who are trying to do something in town, and one of the people who's part of this is like, she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we told her what she needed to do. She had to do something, and we told her exactly how to do it. Mm-hmm. And she totally did the opposite thing, and now we have a big problem. Like, she goes, but, and you could see the wheel, like, I don't know if the squirrel's dead on the wheel in there, the hamster's dead, I don't know. But she couldn't understand why she did the wrong thing. And I'm like, you literally did the opposite of what we told you to do.
Yeah.
But no. And, I'm sure she's mad at me because I'm annoyed because now I have to do this. And I'm just like, I gotta go.
I agree with you, because when it impacts somebody else, that is inconsiderate. When your actions and your stupidity cause a problem for someone else, and I guess in this case the mother, that's what it was. And if it's important enough, then yeah, you have to look at that other person and say, I'm sorry. Your lack of planning is not my emergency, what they usually say. And I agree with that. I think if you consistently do that, if you're consistently late, or you're, consistently you disregard plans of where you're supposed to go, or you're constantly texting for people to tell you the thing that they've told you 500 times already, absolutely, it's very annoying, and it's disrespectful. It shows a lack of respect for the people around you. So, it really depends on the situation. And yes, she's 21 and she's of age now. Although, have you met most of the 21-year-olds out there? I don't know. I don't know if COVID did a job on them, but they don't look and sound like 21-year-olds, the 21-year-olds that I knew when I was growing up. They sound like 12 and 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds. And that's an insult to 12 and 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds.
Well, I think a lot of it is because mom and dad, just have coddled and I know we sound, oh my God, we sound like two little biddies on the porch, don't we? But
Sally, we did.
No, but I talked to my neighbor, and their kids are great. They raised two great kids. They really, really did. And it's not, they don't do this, but they see it, and they'll tell me, like, you see these parents who just give their kids everything. I was talking to a different friend, and they went to Disney, or they were someplace with friends of theirs. The families got together, and their daughter brought a friend with her, and the friend has like the Gucci bag and the this and the that and everything else. And he's like, his friend's like, how does she afford all this stuff? She's at the shop at the resort, and everything. And he goes, oh, she's a professional stay-at-home daughter.
That's great.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's so great. I love it. A professional stay-at-home daughter. Oh, God. And now everybody has accounts on Instagram. So, I mean, it's visible consumption. What's the phrase? It's
conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption. Yeah.
Conspicuous. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this is the conversation I was having with our neighbor who, like I said, they raised great kids. So they did a good job. And, we're surrounded on both two sides of us. We have people who have kids, and the kids are fantastic. So we're very blessed. And they're all either adults or on almost adults and almost on their own. And so they launched and everything. But that's exactly what she said to me, because I said, they're living an Instagram life. And she said, you're right. She said, I'm constantly having to say to my kids, like, don't get so caught up in how things look. You don't need the $8 latte, and then by the time it's delivered to the house DoorDash, because you're too lazy to walk downstairs and make your own coffee, it's a $20 latte. You don't need these things, but everything has to be photographed and put on Instagram and put on social media, etc. So.
Oh, I know. And now there are these websites where you take photos of things that you've worn and don't want anymore, and then you sell them to other people. That used to be called a flea market. That used to be called a garage sale. Now all of a sudden you're putting your stinky leftovers on Instagram or on the internet so that other people can buy them. And I don't understand this the whole thing. I really don't. I don't understand, again, going back to the engagement thing, and it's like, you're not that interesting, person.
Well, I have to tell you, as someone who has bought and sold on Facebook Marketplace, my entire porch is decorated and furnished with old wicker furniture, antique wicker furniture that the kids are cleaning out mom and dad's house and they don't want, and they sold it to me for $25. So I've got that. I got new cushions because nothing matches. But even clothes, I've sold clothes. I don't care. I'm selling it. Why? If someone's willing to buy it, why shouldn't I make a buck off it?
The only online shopping that I do is for makeup, and I've got 8 tons of makeup now that I don't need, and I don't know what happened, but I don't buy clothing. I mean, I really literally don't buy any clothing. I just repurpose everything, but nobody's getting my clothing. Nobody would want it anyway. I don't know. Our lives are too online anymore, and stores are disappearing, and bookstores are gone, and I don't know. It's too easy to live in a bubble, a tech bubble.
Well, to be fair, Christine, you'd have to sell your clothes to children because you're tiny.
I wish. Not anymore.
You're like 4 feet tall, girl.
Like going out of style. Yes, I am a midget, but I'm also about as wide as I am tall. At least my hips are. If you put me on my side, I'm actually about 3'7".
Stop.
No, it's true. I used to be told that I have the Abruzzese hips, the old peasant hips that are, used to birth children easily. And I'm like, I didn't want to birth children. You gave me the wrong hips. I wanted Audrey Hepburn hips, But, okay, whatever.
Well, my mother used to say that to me. My mother used to tell me, you just have childbearing hips, honey. I was like, thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Well, she also used to tell me I was built like an East German swimmer because I have like freakishly long arms and wide shoulders. I am like 3/4 German, so there you go. And she was like, oh, you built like your father, an East German swimmer. I'm like, thank you.
That shows us that we are from the same generation, but she said East German. Because nobody out there, there are kids out there like, what's East Germany?
East Germany, exactly.
Is that a different country? Or what about Czechoslovakia changing its name? What about Turkey? I am not calling that country Turkey. As I said, I was not happy that Turkey got a goal the other day and beat us. But what is it with all of these countries changing their names now?
I don't know. I just don't pay attention. I figure by the time it really takes hold, I'm going to be in a home somewhere, and they'll just think that I'm crazy, which is fine. Exactly. Yeah. Out of all the things I have to remember, that's the real name of Turkey. The new name of Turkey is just not on my list. It's just
the next
not.
thing you know, it's going to be a symbol like the country that used to be known as Turkey.
It's Turkey, exactly. Everybody's getting cultural except the United States. We're not allowed to. All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending time with me. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Time with you. And I'm going to keep listening and give my love to Rich and give my love to Matt. And you're fabulous. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, honey. Have a good one. All right. If you want to join in, 855-839-1210 is the number, 855-839-1210. I'm sorry, but am I the only person who doesn't find it weird to sell your clothes? Like, I do it. A friend of mine has a yard sale that she does, and then she'll pay for like the medical care for dogs that are at a vet hospital, or animals that are in the SPCA or something like that, and she'll pay the vet. She doesn't pay the organization. She pays the vet for spaying and neutering or that type of thing. So I'm always giving her stuff all the time. But I turn around, I've bought stuff there, and yes, I have bought clothes at her yard sale. I've sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I have sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace as well. If you can get $1 for it, why not? Why not? Because a lot of these yard sales, they're selling stuff for $1. They're not making that much money, right? But if you have something a little bit more valuable and you can sell it online, I don't know, why wouldn't you do that? Like, am I the only weirdo? Like I said, my entire porch is furnished with pieces that I got on Facebook Marketplace. Except for the bar and the table. The table I had for years. It was the first thing we ever bought as a married couple, was this table. And I still have that. And it's like a bistro table. It's nice. It's cute. And it's green wrought iron. It's nice. And the bar that we bought for out there. But everything else on that porch, Facebook Marketplace, like $25. Yes, my husband had to put the trailer on the back of the car and drive to go get this stuff, but almost all of it was in this one area of New Jersey. I'm sure you may know it, Tom's River down in Ocean County, where they have all of the retirement places. And so when they die, their kids sell everything off, and they're like, I don't want this. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that. And there you go. Am I the only one? I know this may be a dumb topic, but I can't be the only one. I guess maybe you're in it or you're not. 855-839-1210, or just tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
A plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
The events of September 11th changed our nation forever. As we approach the 25th anniversary, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is looking to hear directly from those who experienced that day firsthand. Were you a first responder who answered the call on September 11th? Were you in New York City, Washington, or near Shanksville? Share your story as part of our special 25th anniversary broadcast, 9/11 Through the Eyes of, a collection of personal memories, reflections, and experiences from those whose lives were forever changed. If you have a first-hand account and would like to be considered for an interview, visit 1210WPHT.com. Let's remember, honor, and preserve them for future generations. Go to 1210WPHT.com.
Hey, Dawn here. With gas prices on top of everyone's minds right now, what about a hybrid? There are a lot of gas-saving options available from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. The Honda hybrid lineup includes the Accord, the Civic, or the CR-V SUV. Take advantage right now of 2.99% financing, 36 months, or 3.99% for 60 months on the CR-V. Experience award-winning hybrid performance today. Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Springfield, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading. PIAZZA, PiazzaHonda.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
A well-organized home isn't a luxury, it's a practical upgrade. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, garages, and home offices, built to fit your space and your needs. You'll work with a designer, choose the look, and get professional installation, so the project stays simple and the results last. Start with a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. BABBEL.com.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. Low testosterone doesn't just affect libido. It can quietly drain energy, endurance, and confidence before most men realize what's happening. You start feeling it everywhere, in the gym, on the stairs, even how you move through the day. That's why Rescue created 2 powerful formulas for ultimate male vitality, both available this Men's Health Month as buy one, get 2 more completely free. Prime RX promotes healthy testosterone levels, stamina, strength, and focus, while ActiFlex supports flexible joints and muscle recovery so movement and performance feel natural again. Go to res-q.com, use the code FEELSTRONG to buy 1 bottle of Prime RX or ActiFlex and get 2 more completely free. Or call a product consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Move stronger, recover faster, shop online, and get 2 free bottles at res-q.com. Use that code Feel Strong.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, we're into the home stretch here. Mary Walter in for Rich Zioli. Rich is back with you on Monday. All right, he's taking a couple more days off, and he is back with you on Monday. So I was curious, Christine Flowers and I were just talking about selling stuff, and she's like, everything is online, everything is, and listen, I buy my clothes from one particular store, and then I know my size, and so I can order stuff online. I feel comfortable doing that. I also just make sure it's not final sale. But there are a couple places that I do feel comfortable buying my clothes from online because I know that they're going to fit. But otherwise, yeah, I go to the store. But I don't think there's anything wrong with selling things on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay or wherever it is. My husband sells so much stuff on eBay. I mean, when I say a lot of stuff, just more than I do because I don't have the patience to pack up the boxes. But, then they get into if it's more than like $600, then they got that tax thing and this and that, which is a lot of times why I just give it to my neighbor for the yard sale. So I sent the boys pictures. Now, this is not finished, okay? Pictures of the porch, not finished, but it has my, not all of it. There's some pieces missing in the picture because we got them later of the furniture on my porch. Now, remember, this house is from the 1880s, all right? Can you put the pictures up, guys? Or not? Oh, you're going to get them up? Okay, they're going to get them up. I just texted it to them, so I didn't know what the process is. But it's not finished. Like I said, there's standing lights now, and there's a couple of other pieces. There's another grouping. But I literally got these piece by piece, and then I don't even think these pictures have I wound up buying online. I found a great company, and I bought pieces online. Yeah, there's no cushions on these, but I got matching cushions, different ones that I added to it later. But the point is, the wicker is insane. It's beautiful. Look at that wicker. Isn't that gorgeous? Is that not gorgeous wicker? Look at that. Now, it may not be your jam, it may not be your thing, but I thought that, having that old wicker was really nice. And I paid and that's just one of the groupings. There's 2 more groupings of furniture. There you go. You can see 2. Yeah, you can see 2 of them, but there's still some pieces missing, and there's other stuff, on the walls, etc. But this was when it was all brandy new, and we had just finished the porch. But yeah, I bought the stuff. There's my table, my little table that has the bistro table that I owned all along. But all that stuff came from Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, there you go. Killed a fly. I just killed a fly. Look at me. Do we feel guilty? I feel guilty when I kill flies sometimes. I do. Update on Grace the giraffe. Remember we talked about Grace the giraffe. She disappeared in Texas. She has been found. She's fat and happy. She's been away for 2 weeks. And they found her. They got to sedate her to get her back. But they're going to do that and bring her back. So I thought that was some more good news. Because I don't like to do just news, political news stuff. Now, I'd mentioned this with Christine. So I found this story. Thought it was super interesting. there's a dating website called Unjected, and it's for people who didn't get the COVID vaccine. And apparently there is a marketplace for this, which I thought was interesting. And they talk about this girl, 27 years old, this young woman, and she matched with this guy and didn't think they met at a bar between Philly and New Jersey, because one was from Philadelphia and one was from Jersey. And so they met at a bar between the two, hit it off. They wind up, he was an apprentice electrical lineman. She does, I don't know what she does, but they hit it off and they wound up getting married. All right, so this worked. But they found that when people who did not get the vaccine tend to have a lot of the same values, and so they come up with this dating website. It describes itself as a platform to connect those who share like-minded values and the convictions to remain unvaccinated. And it started in 2021. The introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine in 2020, of course, was very controversial. Some people are like, yeah, you got to get it. And there's people who are on their 18th booster. I know people who are still getting boosted. God bless you. But so this, they started with meetups in 4 cities this spring. They did some meetups, like live events, because they're getting bigger, and it's still getting people are still angry at them. In the spring, there was a post there was a piece in the Denver Post in an opinion column that said anti-vaxxers get a chance to fall in love with others who do not understand science. So there's people who are still saying, if you didn't get the vaccine, no, you're not the you're not the brave one. You're not the one that we should be listening to. No, they still don't get it. The guy who is deeply involved in this, and he's done everything from content production to customer service. He's the operations director at Unjected, and he thinks that many anti-vaxxers are often pigeonholed as being part of the Make America Great Again movement. And he said, well, who invented the vaccine? Donald Trump. He said, there's no love for Trump around here at all. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Great. And I can understand why. The bulk of the users, 65,000 people, are on this. And how do they prove that you never got the vaccine? Like, how do you prove that? I don't understand how you prove you didn't get it, unless you were vocal about it. But I don't understand how you prove you didn't get the COVID vaccine. It's really self-reporting. I mean, how many of us got invited to social events and then we're told very politely, I'm really sorry, you're not invited anymore? Or you got the invitation with the little card on it with a really nice paper clip shaped like a heart on it that said, due to health restrictions, we request that you be vaccinated to attend. We're very sorry if you cannot attend because of this, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of it, of course, please send a check. How do you prove? I could have lied on several occasions and said, oh yeah, I'm vaccinated, we're cool, and they never would have known. I never in my wildest dreams thought that admitting that I wasn't vaccinated would make me a pariah in some circles and get me uninvited to a bunch of stuff. Like, no, you're not allowed to come. I never thought that was going to happen because I thought these were smart people, and I thought they were smart people, but COVID broke their brains. So I kind of get why this comes up. He said, and that one guy is 42 years old. He said, I sacrificed a lot to remain unvaccinated. It was not an easy choice. I lost my job. I lost all my friends. And he said he wanted a partner who also had that level of resilience, who was willing to endure what it took to remain unvaccinated. To me, that's somebody that I would want to be the mother of my kids. It did take a lot of backbone to say, no, I'm not doing this. I know people who lost jobs. In my humble opinion, one of the reasons I did lose my job was they knew down the road when we were all coming back into the office that I was not going to get it. And they didn't want it to be a news story. And so they're like, yeah, we're making changes now. And I'm like, okay. I can't prove that. It's just my own hypothesis. I don't know. But I would have lost my job down the road because I was not going to do it just to make, the city of DC happy. Injectus users, they say it's a relatively small pool of potential partners. According to national surveys, roughly 1 in 5 U.S. adults have still not gotten the COVID-19 vaccine, and that was a year after it came out. So I doubt anybody, if you held on for a year, I'm pretty sure that you did not. You didn't get it at that point. I know people who got it just so they could go to like an island somewhere. Well, we're going on vacation. We really wanted to go, so we got the vaccine. I'm like, but I didn't really want to get it. I'm like, so then put your vacation off a year. So you injected something into your body you didn't really want to inject into your body just so you could go to Curacao or Aruba or wherever the hell you went. I don't know. That doesn't make it. It just surprises the bejesus out of me. It really does. It just, anyway. I don't understand it. So a user can choose to share information about their sexuality, gender orientation, all this other stuff, but they just, I guess, rely on everybody being honest that they are not vaccinated. And I think you'd be able to tell pretty quickly from somebody whether they were or not once you got to meet them and got into a conversation with them. But they do say a lot of their users are like vegan, vegetarian, because of the whole purity thing of what I put in my body. So I kind of get that. They would be loath to know that I had a hot apple pie from McDonald's last week because it was fried and it was so yummy. So I would not be the person for them. But at least, look, if my husband leaves me, at least now I can go on that webpage and try to find someone else. There's hope for me. I'm so excited. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up coming up here. But if you do want to jump in on anything we talked about, feel free, 855-839-1210, or tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. All right, more coming up on 1210 WPHT.
When their world isn't safe, they need someone to notice, to wonder and worry, to be their voice. If you suspect child abuse in any way, report it. You can be their hero. Your call can change their world.
Report suspected abuse by calling 1-800-932-0313 or visit keepkidssafe.pa.gov for more information. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
All right, we're enjoying our summer vacation, 4th of July, America's 250th, whatever it is. It's also time to think about your home. Hey, it's Rich Zioli, and even though I'm not with you this week, I know that if you're looking for a contractor who can help, you got to think about my friends at Emmons. EmmonsRoofing.com. Emmons delivers protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons is my go-to contractor for roofing, siding, and windows. And they even have a new bathroom division, and they remodeled the kids' bathroom, and it looks just absolutely amazing. Emmons doesn't just make your home look great, it makes it stunning from the curb. Energy efficient, secure, and ready to withstand the elements. You're going to get top quality, American-made products. It's going to increase your home's value and make your home more beautiful. From lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, to siding that insulates, to windows that blend style and performance, Emmons has you covered. Go to EmmonsRoofing.com. My great friends at EmmonsRoofing.com.
With the world's biggest soccer tournament here in Philadelphia, restaurants all over the Delaware Valley are preparing for generational games and generational crowds. We're welcoming visitors from all over the world. And if you're a restaurant owner, you know the next few weeks will be the most challenging and most rewarding of the year. So if you're worried that your point of sale won't stand up to the task, you need to talk to our friends at PDQ POS. Make sure your system is ready. Get a free demo at pdqpos.com.
Well, here we are again, and this is looking like a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Ron, the size difference alone is staggering.
Oh, unbelievable, Jim. And this guy is acting like he doesn't have a care in the world.
What is this guy thinking, Ron?
Well, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. Railroad tracks are more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, welcome back. I don't know if we're having leftovers for dinner. Is that as bad as selling or buying stuff on Facebook Marketplace and online? I know people who won't eat leftovers, but our neighbors, very, like I said, we're so blessed with good neighbors. They're summer only, and they're back and forth. So they're not really summer only. They're back and forth, but they also live mainly up in North Jersey, but they come down here, and they buy really good food. Like they're pretty wealthy. I think they're well off, and they're really nice. So they had a party for one of their kids, had all his friends down and everything. And she's like, "I've got some extra food. Do you guys want it? We don't want to take it home, bring it all the way back." I'm like, okay. This huge tray of sausage and peppers. It's amazing, and it's from a really good place. And it's like a thing of sausage and peppers. I guess maybe it's like a half tray. It's not a full tray, technically. So good. So, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm okay with buying and selling stuff online, because I'll also take other people's leftovers. It hadn't been opened, but even if it had been, so what? I know they scooped it out. I don't care. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Scott Wiener here. So Scott Wiener, he is basically they think he's gonna win the heir apparent to Nancy Pelosi's California congressional seat, and he's very, very, very openly gay and into God knows what, and he parades around in like leather sometimes on the streets and these parades and everything. Well, last week he was in a park, and because it's all pride, because he's in San Francisco in the Mission District, and this happened.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues, and your legislation specifically protecting queers on the sex offender registry is fantastic. Like, I really applaud you for that, and I think you deserve to be here for that. But I think your housing policy, and specifically your housing policy aligning with YIMBYs, and I think your genocide in Gaza, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible.
So you really can't listen to a lot of it because it's just one long beep. So what's happening here is the left and their pyramid of victimhood that they have. They are putting Muslims and Gaza Palestinians above Jews. Jews are getting kicked off. Jews are, but they've been off for a long time. But we're at full-blown anti-Semitism now with the left. And shockingly, Scott Wiener is Jewish. Like, I'm sure you didn't see that coming. But he's Jewish. And now, like I said, it is all coming back to him. And you saw what they did. They're treating him the way they used to treat the right. They practiced on the right. The left coddled this. The left created this monster. And now the monster is coming home to roost. It's not going to be good. I'm out tomorrow. No podcast tomorrow night. I will be back on Wednesday. See you then. Thanks for joining me on 1210 WPHT.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest